going to commit war crimes in public. They got lucky with the Daisy BB gun, is all I can say. Greetings. Paschal Week. Eastertide. Mike Church Show Live, asking the question, today.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
Well, I'll tell you.
In order to ensure the security and continuing stability, the Republic will be reorganized into the First Galactic Empire. For a safe and secure society.
So I'm calling on Congress to pass these reforms, and I'm going to sign them.
They have no air defense, none.
Fall down the thunder, well now you got.
You tell them I'm coming, and hell's coming with me, you hear? Hell's coming with me!
Alrighty, oakley dokley. Our call-in line telephone number if you'd like to be on the program today, same as it ever hath been. I am 844-527-8723. It is a live show, so you can call in if you'd like. 8445 Crusade. Email address, same as it ever hath been. I am KingDude at protonmail.com. That's I-A-M KingDude at protonmail.com. And the Mike Church Show Stadium chat room is open at crusadechannel.com/chat. It is it's basically the first day of the week for us here. Well, even though it's a Tuesday, but it's a Monday. We're going to pretend like it's a Monday. And besides, Artemis has just whipped around the moon.
Apollo 13 flight controllers, listen up.
Artemis flight controllers, listen up.
Give me a go, no go for
Mike
launch.
Church controllers,
Booster.
Go.
chat
Vector.
room,
Go. Vital.
We go fly.
podcast,
Guidance go.
Surgeon.
video,
Go flight.
Rumble,
We'll go flight.
TikTok,
We'll go.
Delmu. Go. Control.
transcript,
Procedures.
Go.
MikeChurch.com,
FAO.
recording,
Network.
Go.
Recovery.
Go!
Capcom.
We'll go flight.
Launch control, this is Houston. We are go for launch.
You know, we should start off by saying today that today is Tuesday in the octave of Easter, which is the most important thing you could say today. That and Maggie somehow managed to get Wirecast on and the video on the air, which is that's a minor miracle in and of itself. So, yes, it is the Tuesday and Easter week today, and Tuesday in the octave of Easter. You know, if you're going to threaten to commit war crimes in public, do you have to do it on Easter Sunday morning? Do you have to say praise Allah on Easter Sunday morning? I don't care how mad you are at the Iranians. Do you have to drop F-bombs as the President of the United States on Easter Sunday morning? You know, there are many people here. I saw half a dozen of them this morning. Well, one lady claims that she has been to over 30 Trump events. Campaigned and lobbied for him, was at the inauguration, and she goes, with the Easter Sunday message to the Iranians, she goes, that's it, I'm out. She goes, I was already on the way out, and I don't want anyone to be, confuse me for a bandwagon jumper. And she gave basically her Trump, her MAGA resume. She goes, so don't tell me that I'm a traitor or I'm a Jew hater or whatever you want to call me here. I tried to stay in, and I can't. I think that this is what is happening to many, many people here. There are a lot of videos out there. I told you 3 weeks ago, con. Absolute con job. You know, the first indication should have been when Jared Kushner squirmed out of his hole and made his way back onto the scene. But you know what? I really don't want to talk about all that today because I don't know about you, but many of us want solutions. You want to talk about something that's productive and is going to aid and assist in finding a way out of this mess. And I really think that the damage that is being done right now, the damage that this lunatic has done, that he has inflicted in the course of 15 months now, and certainly in earnest in the last 5 weeks. By the way, 5 weeks. Today's Saturday was a 5-week anniversary of the choice to let the Israelis run the American government and let lunatics take over the White House and the Trump administration. They were already there. They just hadn't taken over. And then run the whole thing and run it into the ground. As I said last week, when they make a downfall video about you, you're lost. But I think that there is graver danger that is being done here. This is going to create the kind of cynicism that is going, if you thought it was bad before, that is going to lead many more people to just hitting the button and checking out and going like, that's it, tapping out. I have no interest in this, which I think is actually more dangerous if you look at the situation than remaining. I'm not sure who invented it, but it was a long time ago. What was the guy's name who used to call the show, Maggie? Sean in Arizona. Vote, hope, and cope guy. Remember? He even called after we left the SiriusXM Patriot channel and began here on the Crusade channel in 2015 and 2016. I think for the first couple of years we would still hear from Sean in Arizona. Who I want to say he was working at a Raytheon. Wasn't he working for Raytheon? But I'm pretty sure that he was. But the thing was vote, hope, and cope. Where's the hope? I think all that is left now is coping. Of course, you always had the theological virtue of hope, and we know that we're not made for this world. We are made for heaven. We are made in the Imago Dei to love, adore, worship, and worship God for all of eternity. If you wind up on the good side of judgment, right? But many people, as a result of this, especially if this madman does what he claims he was going to do today, I would think that there are world leaders that must be saying right about now, how are we going to stop this before he drags all of us into WW3? It's not a difficult scenario to imagine that we get dragged full scale through this into the Ukraine-Russia war. As a matter of fact, Zelensky's trying to make that happen right now. You may have heard that we have complete and total air superiority. We're flying over the friendly skies of Iran. We just fly wherever we want, do whatever the hell we want. There's nothing they can do about it. Oh, they can shoot down an F-15. They can shoot down an A-10 Warthog. They can almost capture an American pilot that was shot down. What was he shot down with? A Daisy BB gun? Maybe they had it right in a Christmas Story movie. You're going to shoot your eye out with that thing, kid. Maybe the Daisy BB gun is actually more powerful than a locomotive than we had previously given it credit for. But I don't even want to talk about that. The damage that is being done, the damage to the body politic and to the corpus politico is incalculable. You know, Maggie gave me a story today, just to this end. It's time, folks. It's time. Like the sisters who checked out of the Boston St. Patrick's Day parade. It's not the leaving of Boston that grieves me, but St. Patrick when I think of thee. It's not the leaving of America that grieves me, but George Washington when I think of thee. So fare thee well. Here. What else is there left other than comedy? Here's a headline from the New York Post. California's $125 billion high-speed train to nowhere laid bare in 60 Minutes report. California officials now say it will require $126 billion with a B. $126 billion. $1 billion with a B to complete the, what do they even call it? It's Caltrans, right? The California High-Speed Rail Initiative. It was announced just to this end. This thing called democracy. This thing called American democracy, American self-government, whatever you want to call it, is breaking down and failing everywhere. And it's breaking down and it's failing because it doesn't have anything remaining to hold it together. You know, you may have had some residual leftover grace from what was carried over here by the Catholics that settled here in the 16th, 15th, 16th, and 17th centuries, 18th centuries, maybe even through the early part of the 20th. Well, that's evaporated. That's all gone. What's holding it together? In 2008, these things are all related. In 2008, California voters approved a $33 billion project that they were told would connect San Francisco, City by the Gay, and Los Angeles, just like they have in Japan. You know, the Japanese high-speed rail system, the train to... They made a couple zombie movies about Train to Busan. Busan's one of them. The Japanese high-speed rail system is the very well-known envy of the train and public transportation world. The Japanese are very proud of it. The people of Japan are very proud of it, and they actually use it. As a matter of fact, my daughter and son-in-law are in Japan this week, and they are traveling from Tokyo to somewhere south, I forget where, but they're going to get on one of those trains. She may have already done it. One of the things that she was looking forward to. The point being that the Japanese figured out how to build a train line, a high-speed train line, and they actually built it. Look at Japan. Here's a Google research project for you, Maggie. How does Japan compare in size to California? I'm just curious. Because Japan's a pretty big island. And then even in 2008, they went to the voters with the proposition that we will build you the world's most modern, most elite high-speed rail system from San Francisco to California. They said we'll do it inside of 10 years. Look, one of the advantages to listening to the Mike Church Show is that I have been around for so long. And I covered this story when they had the ballot. You know what else was on the ballot initiative that year? Traditional marriage amendment. Prop 8. Prop 8 was on the ballot that year. So in 2008, the voters went, oh, hell yeah, we'll take a high-speed rail train. We won't have to drive up Interstate 5 anymore. You can just hop on a train in L.A., and then you can get off in San Francisco. Everyone was excited about it, and this is going to be the greatest thing. And we're going to American train making is back and what have you here. They still haven't laid any track. Nope. It's 2026. It's 18 years later, and they haven't put a piece of track down. Officials now say it will cost an eye-watering $126 billion to finish the line, which is more money than Amtrak has ever received from the federal government since it was established in 1971. You know, here's a good research project for you. How much did it cost to build the Union Pacific Railroad? You know, so one of the best TV series that I have ever watched is Hell on Wheels. Anson Mount's Hell on Wheels. Just such a great show. And Hell on Wheels tells the story. What's the guy's name? Call Me Annie from Star Trek. Durand. Of how the Union Pacific Company planned and then executed and carried out building a railroad line over the Rocky Mountain Continental Divide from the east all the way to connect the two coasts, the Union Pacific. It was the greatest, grandest railroad public works project in history at the time. Did you know that? It was the largest public works. It wasn't all public because the union was a corporation. They did get a subsidy. If you watch the TV show, Sherman, Grant shows up at a couple of places during the show. In any event, it was the largest infrastructure project since the Great Wall of China, the Union Pacific Railroad. And they had to figure out, well, how in the hell are we going to get around the Rocky Mountains? Hell, how are you going to cross the Snake River? Which they figured out how to do. They built a bridge over it. In any event,
it costs $109 million, which would be $2.64 billion.
Okay, Maggie's saying to build the entirety of the Union Pacific Railroad, it costs 2.6 in today's dollars, $2.6 billion. How much was that? $2.6 billion. $2.6 billion in today's dollars, and they spanned the continent. Figured out how to go over the Rocky Mountains, crossed the Snake River, and then made it all the way to Sacramento. I forget where it came out at. Somewhere in California. Japan and California are very similar in total area, with California being only slightly larger. California covers approximately 163,000 square miles, and Japan is roughly 146,000 square miles. So when the Japanese are able to span their continent, their island, they're able to go from north to south with high-speed rails. And they don't just have one, they have more than one. So you can get on several different high-speed rail trains. And so you know it's possible, but it's not possible in the United States because we are so corrupt. All of our governments are corrupt. All of our institutions have been taken over by Satanists. We have a story from Zero Hedge today, the death of Hollywood in 2 charts. Then add to that the debacle that is Iran. You know, I would like to know, 3 days after the infamous... I mean, to tell the American people, we've got... the Iranians are beaten. They don't have any no air defense, no missiles. They have no planes. They have BB guns. That's all they have. Threaten them with what? A mere 3 days after proclaiming air superiority and that there was nothing left to shoot other than BB guns and slingshots, the Iranians pulled off the impossible and downed a pair of American
super high-tech jet fighters.
They supposedly were previously invisible to radar, and they are invisible to radar. They're not invisible to heat-seeking missiles. And that's what the Iranians figured out. You realize now that with all these sorties and all these missions, these lunatics are bragging about having flown, that the Chinese and the Russians now know everything. We'll be back.
Too much red meat and white bread, and too many dry martinis.
Not stirred.
Then I shall cut out the white bread, sir.
Truth never dies on the Veritas Radio Network's Crusade.
With MedGuard Alert, you're never alone. You can connect with medical professionals anywhere, anytime. And now MedGuard is introducing our exclusive new Care Watch. If you need help quickly, use it from anywhere to contact medical professionals. No cell phone required. The Care Watch is not only a life-saving medical alert device, it's a revolutionary health monitoring system that checks your blood pressure, heart rate, oxygen saturation, and much more. And here's the best part. If you have Medicaid, you may qualify to get your Care Watch for free. The Care Watch is only available through MedGuard Alert. Call us right now. We have monitoring programs starting as low as $1 a day. The call is free, activation is free, shipping is free, and no contract is required. Remember, with Medicaid, you may qualify to get your Care Watch for free. Call us to get your Care Watch right now.
800-681-8020. 800-681-8020. 800-681-8020. That's 800-681-8020.
Hi, folks. It's Mike Church, founder of Founding Father Films, asking you to learn the true stories of America's founding by purchasing my movie, The Spirit of 76. The Spirit of 76 details the true story of the writing and ratifying of the U.S. Constitution.
And here I would make this inquiry of those worthy characters who composed a part of the late Federal Convention. Sir, give me leave to demand, what right had they to say, we the people? Who authorized them?
This animated movie comes complete with collector's booklets, DTS surround sound, and is packed with hours of bonus features. Learn the true stories of America's founding and order Mike Church's The Spirit of 76 on a 2-DVD or 3-CD set. Available now at mikechurch.com/DVD and by calling 844-527-8723.
In a world more and more infiltrated with fake news, AI-generated slop, isn't it great knowing that Crusade Channel News is still researched, written, and performed by actual humans? Hey, what are you doing in here? Oh no. Get your hands off of me. You chipped my chip.
Boys, break it up. Jeez. Catch Crusade Channel News weekday mornings on the Crusade Channel. Live talk and podcast radio the way it should be.
No AI was harmed in the making of this radio content. We hope to next time.
Hey, it's the King Dude with another free lesson in stuff you really don't need to know. Harvest was Great Britain's name for the season that follows summer until autumn began to displace it at the end of the 16th century. But English immigrants to America preferred fall to autumn. And did you know that fall is caused by the sun setting below the equator in the northern hemisphere sky, also known as the equinox, which continues south to the winter solstice. Here's another seasonal fact for you. The flag of the Sacred Heart of Jesus is also known as the Carillon de Sacré-Cœur, or the original flag of Quebec. And did you know that our founders Trading Post is the exclusive maker and distributor of this one-of-a-kind, full-size, beautiful flag? Order a Sacred Heart flag right now and take $5 off, and I'll throw in a matching Sacred Heart flag bumper sticker for free. You know, don't cost nothing. Hurry, fall is here, and flag flying season in the north is limited. To order, go to mikechurch.com/flag or call us at 844-527-8723. The Carillon de Sacré-Cœur flag will beautify any indoor or outdoor space it flies in, but supplies are limited. So order today at mikechurch.com/flag or call us 844-527-8723.
The Crusade Channel knows what the remedy for the fall is. But we also know that we're not the remedy. We just promote and defend it.
Oh, really?
And because we have no O'Reillys and Lowers leering luridly on our airwaves, you can listen with your fair maidens.
Really?
Really?
The Crusade Channel. Remedy-sized truth from radio-sized speakers.
Top Gunny this morning. Go, go. Marcus Julius Meridius Maximus Augustus. A blessed Tuesday in Holy Week to all. Not Holy Week. Paschaltide, Eastertide to all of you. You know, if I'm Viktor Orban, I'm not sure I want Trump's endorsement. I would imagine that Orban's opponents are like, please let Trump endorse him. It's the only way we're going to win. The only shot that we have. This portion of the program brought to you by our friends at mypillow.com/KingDude. For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com/KingDude. Or I got to tell you, man, I was sacked out on my pillow last night, and it was good. It was a great night. Sleep. Hope you got one too, but if you didn't, and maybe you're struggling with one of those pillows that you got to turn over every 2 hours, because it loses its heft and it gets hot. You ain't got to do that with a MyPillow. Just get you one or two today. I actually have two. There's 4 on our bed. So a pair of MyPillows will do just the trick. And they are sized to fit you. So each pillow is actually sized to fit you and your body and your head. So check them out today. Don't forget the My Slippers and the My Mattress Toppers and My Pillowcases and so much more. It's all at the same site, and the Mike Church Show gets credit when you shop there. So mypillow.com/KingDude, and I'll tell them that we sent you. This is from the Hill newspaper. This is Sunday, because this is Sunday evening, on the 5th. Iran says U.S. aircraft destroyed during recovery mission for missing service member. Well, how's that possible? They got King David resurrected from the grave and he knocked it out with a slingshot? How's that? Did the Iranians discover the grave of Annie Oakley? Was Hawkeye from the Avengers there? What did they shoot it with? There's no air defense. They have nothing. We've obliterated. It's obliteratified. It's a new word. I've obliteratified. All of it. They have nothing. What are they going to do? They're completely and totally militarily defeated. They're beaten. They're defeated. They're done. They can't shoot. Our planes are just flying willy-nilly. Anywhere they want, right, JD? Right, Marco? Well, apparently that's not true. His press conference, his address to the nation did not age very well, did it? Nope. Within 3 days, the lies were opened up for all the world to see. Multiple outlets, including CNN, Reuters, and the Wall Street Journal, also shared images of destroyed aircraft that Iranian state media released. CNN geolocated the footage to southern Isfahan province in Iran. The Hill has reached out to CENTCOM, and it did not respond to a request for comment. At just past midnight on Sunday, Trump wrote on Truth Social that U.S. forces, my fellow Americans, over the past several hours, I told the Iranians, open the Strait of Hormuz or else. The United States military pulled off one of the most daring search and rescue operations in U.S. history. We're glad that our boy was rescued, okay? We are. We are saddened and livid that he was put in a position to be shot down over enemy airspace to begin with. Playing Macho Man with a social media account, it's no way to wage a war. Which, by the way, the indications are the United States is losing. Every time you fly a sortie mission now, the boasting and bragging about blowing 12,000 bombing runs of ammo. There's so much to talk about. Did you see the actual footage? Anybody else see the actual footage of one of those jets being shot down? It was being chased by a missile, and it was just like in the movies. And it was dropping all sorts of countermeasures. It flew up, went straight up, dropped countermeasures. The missile kept coming. Then it went into basically a stall, which is headed straight towards the ground, back towards Earth, and dropped more countermeasures. And before he got to the ground, and he could make another maneuver, that missile hit him, and he ejected immediately. Now, this from the air, we had complete and total control of all of the airwaves over Iran. One of the most daring search and rescue operations in U.S. history for one of our incredible crew member officers, who also happens to be a highly respected colonel, who I'm told to let you know is now safe and sound. This brave warrior was behind enemy lines. Why did you make an enemy out of him? It doesn't have to be enemy lines. You're choosing to make it an enemy line. And now it's an enemy line, and the rest of the world knows it's an enemy line. By the way, the Strait of Hormuz is not open. Now, did you see on Friday, Macron, apparently this is Friday. I didn't follow up on it because I was busy doing Good Friday stuff on Good Friday. I'm sure Maggie can confirm this. I did see the headlines that apparently the French talked to the Iranians, who are religious zealot wacko fanatics who just want to nuclear annihilate the entire human species. I guess they failed to get the memo. Now look, please don't misunderstand. These are Shia Muslims. They practice taqiyya. They lie. No one wants to jump in bed with the Iranians, but we started this. You started this. French oil tankers were allowed to pass through the strait because they talked. And then more on this. The Iranians are claiming that they destroyed a C-130. Or that a C-130 was destroyed. And then you can see in the graph right here in this particular story, you can see Friday 5 F-15E downed, and both airmen eject. First airman is rescued, and then the second part of the graph that you can see it there from the hill. Second airman flees and hides in mountain crevice. Third, Saturday, U.S. Special Operations Forces land at makeshift airstrip and rescue airmen. Rescue aircraft gets struck. Third rescue operation launched. If they've learned how to shoot F-15 easy, if you can do it once, you can do it again. Let me repeat that. It's not me saying this. It's the military people telling me this. This is a disaster. If you can shoot one down once, then you can shoot another one down. You don't have air superiority because your F-15E can now be taken out. Now, I don't know what the success ratio is, but all this bull and baloney about how well and swimmingly this is all going. By the way, I'm just going to ask this question again. Where is Congress? Where in the hell is Congress? This is your job. This is what you were sent to Mordor for. By the way, I am not alone in proclaiming today, Tuesday, April the 7th, year of our Lord and Savior, Anno Domini 2026, is All Hail the 25th Amendment Day. I had to do a little reading up on it today, so I brushed up on the 25th Amendment. It was ratified in 1967. It was the opinion of Congress, and after the Kennedy assassination, and after the succession of Lyndon of LBJ to replace John Kennedy. What if it happens again? What if something happens to Johnson, because you didn't have a vice president for a while there? And so they thought it was wise to write the 25th Amendment, which comes in 4 parts. The first part is in case of the removal of the president on his death or resignation. Of course, it would be invoked. Nixon would use it. 1973, he gone. Section 2, wherever there's a vacancy in the office of the vice president, it's how to fill it. Section 3, whenever the president transmits to the president pro tempore, the Senate, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, a written declaration that he is unable to discharge. If the president says, all right, look, I can't care, I'm sick, or got to go have emergency surgery or whatever, here's my letter, the advance takes over. Or clause section 4, whenever the vice president and a majority of either of the principal officers of the executive departments or such body as Congress may by law provide. In other words, Congress could convene like a grace commission if it wanted to. A simple majority vote in both houses to convene a commission to look into whether or not this current president or any other president is fit to continue in office. If they vote by a simple majority vote no, then the 25th Amendment is invoked. Then he goes into the House, and now to get rid of him, it takes 2/3 vote in both houses. Doubtful that would happen, unless you truly are dealing with a lunatic, which at this point in time, I think that we may be. Interestingly enough, if you want to see a dramatization of what it looks like to invoke the 25th Amendment, in season number 2 of 24 with Keifer Sutherland, they used the 25th Amendment to install Powers Booth as president and to get rid of Maggie and I's favorite TV president ever, and that's President Palmer. President David Palmer, the first black president. Long before Obama, we had President Palmer, and they used the 25th Amendment. They basically framed him, set him up, and they got rid of President Palmer using the 25th and installed, as I said, Powers Booth. But it went on for, almost an entire season of 24, was basically just finding out who set up Palmer and then trying to undo the damage that had been done from it. So there was another TV show that they used the 25th Amendment in. Was Keifer Sutherland in it? I think he was. It was the one where the State of the Union there's a bomb that goes off, right? And it's called it's contingency plan, isn't it? I never watched it. No, I forget the name of it. What's that? Designated Survivor. In any event, there are sabers that are rattling in Mordor on the Potomac that the 25th Amendment may need to be invoked against a madman who is threatening to take out infrastructure. So if you didn't see the infamous tweet, I can read it to you. I have to use my bleep button to do it. Coming from the President of the United States on Easter Sunday. I'd have to use my bleep button to do it, to read it to you. This while threatening basically to commit a war crime, this while boasting and bragging on Thursday. Shut down, I blew one of your bridges up. I'm going to take more. You're not going to have any infrastructure remaining. You think that the people of Iran are going to forget that we have targeted their civilian infrastructure and that today are threatening to bomb power plants? How does that make friends out of our new buddies that were so desperate for Jeffersonian democracy, we were told 5 weeks ago? Remember that? I say to the people of Iran, I want all 7 swing states. You can win a swing state, too, and take over your government. You may never get another chance. Pete Hegseth said it'll be a cakewalk. You should do it. Laura Loomer told me you just need to go in your parliament and just take it over. It's yours. You're a great people. They've gone from being a great people who should take over their government to now get out of the way. Oh, you have to hear this one. And people go, why are you saying that you need to invoke the 25th Amendment, TKD? I can't believe you're banned. Oh, dude, he's crazy. Oh, the cut sheet? It's fine. Can you play the one where he actually says, now this is real. If you don't think this guy's lost his marbles, he actually said, now wait a minute, they have no communication, they're talking through walkie-talkies, they've got tin cans with strings, they're like children in a Disney Sunday night movie. I want all 7 swing states. They can't communicate, no one can talk to anyone, but somehow you talk to people in neighborhoods and they told you they want you to keep killing them? This is madness. What? Here, watch.
Why would they want you to blow up their infrastructure, to cut off their power? Wouldn't that be punishing Iranians for the actions of the regime?
They would be willing to, and it's suffering, they would be willing to suffer that in order to have freedom. The Iranians have, and we've had numerous intercepts. True. Please keep bombing. Bombs that are dropping near their homes. Please keep bombing.
Oh, my Lord.
Do it. And these are people that are living where the bombs are exploding. And when we leave and we're not hitting those areas, they're saying, please come back, come back, come back. These are the people. I don't know what they do. All I can tell you is they want freedom. They have lived in a world that you know nothing about. It's a violent, horrible world where if you protest, you are shot. Remember the great woman protest?
Yeah. What? How do you possibly know this? You said they don't have communication, and yet they had the White House bat phone? They called us back. They say, no, come back. Well, why'd you stop? We want freedom so bad, we're willing to have you atomize us, vaporize us. My daughter didn't get vaporized. Could you please vaporize her? They called me and they said, JD, they called and they said they want us to vaporize identify. That's what they said. You missed Haji's house. You could have, if you'd hit Haji's house, we'll revolt. This is insanity. And it's a bold-faced lie, according to his own metrics. He's the one that said that they had no communication. He's the one that said that they had no way to shoot anything other than bottle rockets. Bottle rockets then went to Daisy BB guns. And he actually did say that. Threatening with what? A BB gun? What are they threatening with? And now people are saying, what does the 25th Amendment say? What does the 25th Amendment say? There's a guy that writes at the... Let's see, which one is it? Oh, by the way, the Artemis mission is awesome. Talk about a great distraction. The pictures, because people like him pictures, we are getting back of the moon. I can still hear my favorite Apollo miniseries was the one that was narrated by Barry Corbin. Well, that didn't matter to any of us because Kennedy had given us a mission and we had a date with the moon. I just love, I think TBS is the one that produced that one. The most colorful, high-definition images have now come back from the Artemis 2 spacecraft, and they are simply stunning, folks. Don't let anybody con you, and it's all CGI, it's all computer animated. The Earth doesn't look like that from space. Where are the stars? Guy told me, where are the stars? And I go like, do you know anything about photography? Because somebody challenged me on it. I'm like, I can tell you exactly how the stars aren't in that picture. And it has to do with focal length and exposure times. In any event, Andrew Day at the American Conservative. Yes, Trump might use nukes in Iran. So a buddy of mine just sent me this. You seen this, Maggie, from Iran News 24? This was from yesterday. Iran News 24. That is at Iran Media Company, CO. Dear Americans, Iran does not have the missile range to strike your country. If an attack occurs, it will most likely be carried out by your own government or Israel. In other words, if LA does get struck, it'll be because we bombed it. And what's Trump going to say then? The people of LA said, no, we want you to hit us again. We're willing to suffer for the Iranian people. Hit us again. The Israelis said, Laura Loomer said, Mr. President, we're going to have to put a bomb on the front porch of Aunt B from Mayberry RFD. Andy Griffith's hometown needs to have a nuke. They need to get shot. Andrew Day says Trump Easter morning promised to destroy Iran's critical infrastructure unless it opens the Strait of Hormuz. Tuesday will be Power Plant Day and Bridge Day, all wrapped up in one in Iran. There will be nothing like it. This is the Easter Sunday message the President of the United States sent out. Maybe these statements were Trump reiterated and intensified a threat on a Monday news conference. The entire country could be taken out in one night, and that night might be tomorrow night. You're threatening to annihilate a human population with American nuclear devices. You're going to have a revolt on your hands, and it's not going to be in Iran. It's going to be in Louisiana. We will not allow you and the madmen that are running the government to do this. And then Day says maybe these statements weren't just bluster. Maybe not. Regardless, if Tehran doesn't budge, Trump will feel pressure to follow through and turn Iran into an apocalyptic hellscape before tomorrow morning. This is supposed to happen in Paschal Week. And if the president actually believes that Iranians are like, you know, I meant to say this when the clip was being placed. Let me just say. People that live in Arab countries do not have the same view of, quote, freedom, close quote, the way you do. The word liberty, like you understand it, is not in their vocabulary. They don't. They have a completely different view of it. They don't understand Jeffersonian democracy. Hell, they don't understand democracy. I don't know why my automation is not working. It should, but we'll be right back.
I
The Crusade Channel. Talk radio the way it should be. Broadcasting live from Madisonville, Louisiana, and streaming 24/7 at crusadechannel.com. The Crusade Channel, your talk podcast and Fiorella File station.
Fiorella is the literary savage who skips sensitivity training. She is the librarian who reads and reviews books so you don't have to.
Hello and welcome to the Fiorella Files. On my show, I will be introducing you to books, classic and contemporary, that you must read, should enjoy reading, or should not touch with an 11-foot barge pole.
10 to 11 a.m. Central every Monday on the Crusade Channel, our app, and always on crusadechannel.com. Live talk and podcast radio.
The way it should be.
Silver and gold. In these turbulent times, buying silver and gold is such a no-brainer that even snowmen know they should do it. Now, all precious metal dealers claim to be the best, but only one can claim they are endorsed by the KingDude, and that's Miles Franklin. My friend Andy Scheckman's a regular guest on my show and a regular genius when it comes to silver and gold, and I trust him with my silver and gold purchases, and so should you. So email Miles Franklin today for your exclusive Mike Church Show discount price list. info@milesfranklin.com.
Do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call. Because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at crazy low prices. They have access to great prices and discounts at over 500 different airlines. Plus 300,000 hotels and rental car companies. Their prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find the best price for you. Call SmartFares today and get ready to see the world with a fat wallet.
800-313-7757. 800-313-7757. 800-313-7757. That's 800-313-7757.
Hi, folks, it's Mike Church, founder of Founding Father Films, asking you to learn the true stories of America's founding by purchasing my movie, The Road to Independence, the movie. The Road to Independence tells the exciting story of the Founding Fathers' struggle to declare independence.
Powder and artillery are the most effective, sure, and conciliatory measures we can adopt.
And just where does Mr. Adams propose we get the powder he so desperately wants to fire at our countrymen?
We are locating more saltpeter by the day, and our marksmen, whoa, let me tell you, our marksmen can...
Look, if you... This animated movie comes complete with collector's booklets, DTS surround sound, and are packed with hours of bonus features. Learn the true stories of America's founding and order Mike Church's The Road to Independence on DVD and CD. Available now at mikechurch.com/DVD and by calling 844-527-8723.
When most people hear the word coffee, they conjure up visions of a ceramic mug in the palm of both hands and a woman slowly sipping. This isn't a Folgers commercial. It's for cappuccino holy roast, and here's how I take mine. With a dash of vanilla, a pinch of cinnamon, a spoonful of honey, and lots of heavy cream. Add some ice, shake, and then enjoy, while knowing that's $6 the libs at Starbucks can't spend to ruin my life and yours.
Cappuccino Holy Roast in whole bean or grind is available at shop.mychurch.com.
This is Capcom. We are ready to go for launch at the Crusade Channel launch site.
New show lineup.
Go.
Broadcasting live on X, YouTube, and Rumble.
We're go fly.
Breaking news updates.
Go.
The Mike Church Show Band.
We're go.
We're go for launch for the Crusade Channel 4.0 mothership.
2, 1, lift off.
On August 4th, the Crusade Channel launched Crusade Channel 4.0, the mothership. And now you can see why everyone else is lost in space. Everybody loves a good trilogy. The Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, and now the KingDude Seasoning Trilogy. There's Beast and Butt Rub, Acadiana Steak, and the brand new Chicken Mamu Seasoning, a lemon herb-based rub that's won trophies in barbecue chicken cook-offs. Now, we've bundled all 3 spices together, and you can get them for one low price for less than it costs to rent a movie trilogy. And the KingDude offers you his personal money-back guaranteed of your taste buds' complete satisfaction. Order a KingDude Seasoning Trilogy today at shop.mychurch.com.
Listen, were you forced into getting getting a solar contract and now you just don't want it anymore? Maybe the solar company misled you. Or is your solar contract buried with hidden fees? Are you not saving the amount of money you thought you would on your energy costs? Don't worry. At the Solar Exit Hotline, we can help you cancel your solar contract, even if the panels are already installed. Our experienced legal team will review your contract and help you cancel it, possibly saving you thousands of dollars. You got to call right now for complete details. So listen, if you're not happy with your solar contract for any reason, we are here to help you cancel it. Call the Solar Exit Hotline now for immediate options to help you exit your solar contract. This call is 100% free.
800-932-1789. 800-932-1789. 800-932-1789. That's 800-932-1789.
In a world more and more infiltrated with fake news, AI-generated slop, hola, isn't it great knowing that Crusade Channel News is still researched, written, and performed by actual humans? Hey, what are you doing in here? Oh no. Get your hands off of me. You chipped my chip.
Boys, break it up. Jeez. Catch Crusade Channel News weekday mornings on the Crusade Channel. Live talk and podcast radio the way it should be.
No AI was harmed in the making of this radio content, but we hope to next time.
If women living near rivers and taking the pill turns the frickin' frogs gay, imagine what happens to men on the same river who don't listen to Mike Church.
Portion of the Mike Church Show here, America's morning show, brought to you by the Dude Nation membership service. Sign up today. There are too many benefits to list, but podcasts, check. Chatroom, check. Video cast without the annoying YouTube commercials, check. Transcripts of the program, check. Discount in the Dude Gear store, check. And much, much more. Sign up today. We're making new playlists and new mini-series every week now, featuring at podcast.mikechurch.com. It is the America's largest and coolest podcast and conservative library. It just is. So every day that goes by, we catalog and add tags and much, much more to 11 years of this show on the Crusade Channel, and then whatever else we can get our hands on that we have previously recorded in a 34-year broadcasting career. It's going on the site, podcast.mikechurch.com and on mikechurch.com. So sign up today or upgrade to a metal membership, gold, platinum, father, or rhodium elite. Easy to do. Just go to mikechurch.com/join to either sign up or upgrade your old Founders Pass membership to a Dude Nation membership. And check the cool medals out. Robert E. Lee is on the rhodium elite. That's Mother Cabrini that is on the gold. Check them out today and sign up, especially if you're listening to a preview. Why are you doing that? You want this show 3 hours a day, at least 3 hours a day, and then you can catch it whenever you want with the podcast version or the rebroadcast on the stream 3 times a day. Sign up at mikechurch.com/join. Yeah, so it's quickly back to the nuke story. Trump might even be attempted to accomplish this monstrous objective with the use of nuclear weapons. Amid muddled messaging from the White House, one of the most consistent themes has been declared the intention to obliterate Iran, and nuclear weapons offer the surest way to do that. A new rhetorical theme emerged last week when Trump threatened to bomb Iran back to the Stone Ages. Phrases associated with Curtis LeMay, as I told you, who served as Air Force Chief of Staff during the Vietnam War. LeMay is known for something else, too, his promotion of nuclear weapons and complaint that Americans had a phobia on using them. We're going to get bigger and better. It's going to be the greatest fireworks show for our 250th. We're going to light Iran up and make it glow like glass. They'll be able to see it from the Artemis II glowing from outer space. It'll be beautiful. The Iranian people called and they said, look, you didn't hit the you missed the other city with the nuke. Can you do it again, please? We crave freedom and we want to be nuked. Maggie's over there shaking her head. I'm only repeating things that he said.
I know, that's why I'm shaking my head. It's sad.
I'm doing a show tonight, perhaps you've heard. We're going to address the nation and the world because I'm just basically going to tell everyone how great I am. The Iranian people want more bombs dropped. Here, you want to hear more insanity? Listen to this. Now, this is during the Easter celebration at the White House. Well, at least he didn't have the tranny bunny there. It's a small improvement over Biden. Number one, he's asked MAGA people are...
This was the press conference.
Oh, this is the press conference one. Where's the one where he goes on and on and on about
The first one, that one is, yeah.
Okay. He goes on and on about there's a poll. No one's ever seen anything like it. I won the popular vote. Did you know that? And I've won another popular vote now. 100% of MAGA. No one's ever seen anything like it. Everyone's on board. They just love our soldiers and they love our bombs. Bombing is fun. It's fun, okay? This is deluded. He actually believes this. Or his egomaniac brain is convinced, his infantile, peanut-sized brain, that, look, all you have left is your ego. Here, watch.
And everyone's saying, oh, is Trump losing MAGA? No, I'm not losing MAGA. MAGA loves what I'm doing. And CNN did a poll of MAGA voters, a big poll, very important poll.
It wasn't a big poll.
And he went on, he said, this is amazing. 100% support. He said, I've never had a 100% poll at anything before. And is, do you support Trump, MAGA people? Which is, by the way, mostly Republican. And if you look, I would say MAGA makes up a majority, like about 95% of the Republican Party, all right? So they went out, they did a poll, and CNN came back 100% support. So they support what we're doing, but they would like to see it end and come back. But remember, wars last years. We're in there for 34 days, and we've obliterated a very powerful country in 34 days. Yeah, if it were up to me, I'd like to keep the oil. I just don't think the people of the United States would really understand.
In other words, you idiots out there don't understand that we'd have to occupy that country, and it would take an invasion force of, now I've seen the estimates, I actually have seen this, an invasion force of 1.5 to 2.5 million men. That's just to try a land war in Asia, which the Russians tried and failed in Afghanistan with goat herders. The American people don't understand. We want the oil. Why do we need their oil? You know, my friend right around the corner from me right here, Lance, is gone 35 days on in now. By the way, check the spot price on our home. Would you like to know what it is today? $115.22. Zero Hedge has a story. The title of the story is, Which Country Runs Out of Energy First? Well, the people that run out of gasoline, Mr. President, will they be calling the White House going, they called and they said, can you blow another tanker up? We're enjoying not having energy. It's so nice to be together and not have smartphones and electricity and stuff. So it's the people. Ask the people. They want freedom so much. They want freedom so much that they're willing to have their electrical plants bombed back to the Stone Age. They want to use smoke signals is what they're telling us. Use smoke signals. $115.81 a barrel. Somebody asked, where is it? I want to know who the homers are that are left. I want to share something else with you because it's Holy Week, or it's Paschaltide. So it is the octave of the resurrection, the octave of Easter. There is a story, and you can find it at the Free Press, why the Vatican and the White House are on the outs. Inside the collapse of Washington's relationship with the first American Pope. I'm the greatest peacemaker in the history of peace. You idiots in Norway wouldn't give me the prize. So I said, screw it. What am I being peaceful for? On Easter Sunday, Pope Leo XIV urged world leaders to lay down weapons and choose peace. To drop the desire to dominate others, in Leo's words. It was a culmination of a rhetorical escalation against the Iran war that grew in intensity over Holy Week when he condemned the imperialist occupation of the world and warned that God rejects the prayers of those who wage war. Now, the story is paywalled, so I only have the quote from Jerry, and I don't have a subscription to this particular account, and I'm not buying one. It's hard not to see these remarks as aimed directly at the leader of the free world and the Christians in his inner circle. President Donald Trump has not directly addressed the Pope's comments, but behind closed doors, tensions have been building for months, culminating in January when senior U.S. defense officials summoned a top Vatican diplomat to the Pentagon. What happened inside that room set the tone for everything that followed. Vatican officials briefed on the meeting, who spoke with the Free Press on the condition of anonymity, described it as a bitter lecture warning that the United States has the military power to do whatever it wants, and the church had better take its side. So this president is now actively working against Catholic social teaching on just war, and now against Catholics that conform their mind to the reality as such a teaching exists, and to not be in agreement with it is to not be in a state of grace. No, you can disagree with it. No, that makes you what's called a heretic. Now, you may not be a formal heretic, but you'll be a heretic. So the President of the United States is now trying to create heretics. Well, I can tell you this. The Secretary of War fired the chaplain from South Carolina, who was the head of all the religious chaplains. And supposedly the story is that there are so many young men going like, I'd sign up for this. I ain't dying from Assad. I'm not dying for your Israeli war. What the hell's the objective here? And there are many people that are trying to invoke conscientious objections. And they're being told, Hegseth is telling them, screw you. You don't get a conscientious objection. Now, take your dose of American exceptionalism and go die for Israel. Folks, this is worse than Vietnam. The only difference is the numbers involved. Continuing on with the story about the Vatican being basically told by the Trump administration, do what we tell you to do, or else what? Were you going to bomb the Vatican? The Vatican was 14 hours, 14 days from getting a nuke. They were going to take out all of old Christendom. The Georgia Maloney's government was going to be targeted. They were this close. We had to go in to strike some St. Peter's Cathedral. Now, look, we left the dome intact, but we took out an annoying statue of a saint I hate. So we took that out first. And they're going to put a statue of me up there instead on the colonnade. Is the Vatican next? So the Vatican representative said there was a bitter lecture warning that the United States has the military power to do whatever the hell it wants and that the church had better take its side. One might wonder why a government that has no apparent qualms about bombing foreign countries and capturing or killing tyrants would bother to trying to court or demand the Vatican's favor. The answer, and by the way, there is no end to Kerry Prejambolers and others' relentless assault on Zionism. I think this is what may at least be partially behind so many conversions this past Easter Sunday. I was told there were over 700 in the Diocese of Boston. There are 8,000 in L.A. There's a famous Spanish actress I saw on her Instagram who stood outside the church after she was confirmed and said, in Spanish, she said, I am now a confirmed Catholic. Thanks be to God. There's an American comedian who I started following who, what's her name? I'll tell you in just a second here, who announced on her social media on Saturday that she was, here it is, her name is Chrissy Mayer. I don't know her. Wait, Maddie, you ever heard of Simpcast? Comedian, Simpcast, Night Martyr, my album Live from January 6th is on Amazon iTunes. I don't know the girl, but she said on her X account, I was received into the Catholic Church. I lost 3,000 followers, and I can't help but think that it's because of my conversion. Back to the story about what's happened in the Vatican. The answer lies, so you might be wondering, why would the Trump administration want to start a war with the Vatican? The answer lies in something easy to overlook. The Catholic Church is perhaps the only remaining global institution perceived to carry genuine moral authority. And as your kind and humble host has been asserting for years now, she needs to publicly display it. The Holy Father can't scream loud enough unjust war. And he should hold his position. Look, pray for him that he holds his position because he's correct. He may be the only thing that saves Iran from this lunatic nuking them tonight. The Holy See, for all its imperfections and scandals, remains a body whose credibility the American superpower seeks. You're not going to get it. For the same reason that Saint Pope Pius X told Theodore Herzl, get out. It's not going to happen. I'm not backing you or your wretched plan or your Zionism. Can't do it. Not going to happen. They know that Leo's blessing, or at least his silence, would confer a kind of moral legitimacy that no amount of power can manufacture on its own. You know, I just happen to know a little bit about this story because I know one of the players involved. In 2003, Michael Novak, a very well-known Catholic, Michael Novak and I forget who the other two, and two others were put on a U.S. air transport plane, and they were flown from Mordor on the Potomac to Rome. They landed at the airport near Rome. They were taken by diplomatic entourage to go and have an audience with His Holiness Pope John Paul II. And they met with the Holy Father, and this was Michael Novak leading basically a mission that had been sanctioned by George H.W. Bush to try and gain the Vatican's endorsement of the invasion of Iraq. Novak is a Catholic. They thought that they had the upper hand, and Novak had convinced the Holy Father. Well, most of you know what happened. And guess what? You know who else was in the room and was in the meeting? Cardinal Ratzinger. He was then Cardinal Ratzinger. Pope Benedict XVI was in the room. And to his credit, St. Pope John Paul II said, no, you will not receive our blessing. And you should not do this. It's not just. And then they got the whole lecture about weapons of mass destruction and you need America and we don't need you. And the Holy Father held steady and remained a critic of the Iraq War because it was unjust. Look at the results of the unjust war in Iraq. Hundreds of thousands of Americans suffering PTSD to this day. Still suffering it. You know, all these celebrities, Sly Stallone and Guy Fieri and all the rest of them, you know, they go hang out with the Tunnels for Towers guy. And again, I'm not picking on the Tunnels to Towers group, or I'm not picking on them. I'm not picking on the foundation. I'm simply pointing out that, you know, they seek this celebrity help and celebrity involvement to raise funds so that they can pay help their children get educated, pay off their mortgages because they got widows and what have you. That these things, you don't want these things to happen. We don't want them to happen. And you don't want. Now here he comes again. Are you kidding me?
19 minutes ago.
19 minutes ago. Okay. It's J.D. Vance, where are you? It's 25th Amendment time. A whole civilization will die tonight. Yeah, you know what? The United States is the civilization that's going to die. You madman. Oh, my Lord. Never to be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will. They're going to use nuclear devices. Oh, my Lord. However, now that we have complete and total regime change, where different, smarter, and less radicalized minds prevail, maybe something revolutionarily wonderful can happen. Who knows? We will find out tonight, one of the most important moments in the long and complex history of the world. 47 years of extortion, corruption, and death will finally end. God bless the great people of Iran. After you vaporize them? Where is Congress? You cannot do this on the... Oh, my Lord. Can you imagine? Where is the rest of the world? I might just be asking right now, where is Macron? Where is Putin to pick the red bat phone up and say, Donald is Vlad. I take time out from Easter celebration of Octave of Wait a minute, he's Eastern Russian Orthodox, so I think theirs is next week. I take time out from Holy Week to tell you, you cannot do what you threaten to do to people in Iran. You will have fallout cloud that will kill hundreds of thousands. Look at a map of Iran. Look what is to the east of it. That's the direction the fallout's going to go. Immediately next door is what? Afghanistan. What's next to Afghanistan? Pakistan. Keep going east. Ultimately, most of Asia. I don't know the size of the cloud. This is, oh my Lord. A whole civilization will die tonight. He's threatening a war crime. He's threatening, wait a minute. I thought these were great people. Which is it? Mark the time, folks. So that is 18 minutes ago, Maggie, when you got it, that was 29. So that was 8:10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on the 7th of April, in the year of our Lord and Savior, 2026, during the octave of Easter. The man who claims now that he's the president of the United States and the leader of the free world is now threatening to bring a civilization of 96 million people to an end. Can I ask the question, under what pretense? Who's going to take the nuke? How are you going to deliver it? You're going to try to send a super high-tech jet fighters to Enola Gay style drop it? How are you going to pull this off? Who is in on this? We'll be back.
Not stirred.
No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die.
Truth never dies on the Veritas Radio Network's Crusade.
This is a pixel.
I'm Groot.
Now, if you put a couple of million of these guys together, you can make a sentence on an LED screen. Put a couple of billion of them together, and you can make a whole page. Put 360 billion of them, and you got Chesterton's book, Orthodoxy. But it doesn't smell like a book, and it burns teeny little holes in your cornea. So is the pixel really your friend?
I'm Groot.
No, but the Founders Trading Post is your friend, and we have actual books with actual smelly pages. Plus, our little bookstore has everything you'd expect.
I'm Groot.
Yes, Groot, to the gourmet coffee, but no to the One Tree Hill sappy guitar music.
Pick up a copy of G.K. Chesterton's Orthodoxy, plus many other Chesterton titles at shop.mikechurch.com.
The Crusade Channel and the slaves of the Immaculate Heart of Mary's Sisters present the Saint of the Day.
Hello, Crusaders. This is Sister Maria Filomena with your Saint of the Day. Saint Herman Joseph died in the year 1241. He was a German, a native of Cologne, who became a Premonstratensian monk. He had great devotion to the Blessed Virgin Mary. When the monks added the name Joseph to his original name, Herman, Our Lady gave her approval to this addition by placing a ring upon his finger. St. Herman Joseph was ardently devoted to the memory of St. Ursula and her 11,010 companions who were martyred in Cologne, all as virgins, in the year 383, and whose bodies are kept in one of the churches. He died in 1241 after having added the name Joseph to his first name under the personal guidance of Our Lady. Later, his body was found incorrupt. Today is also the feast of St. Jean-Baptiste de La Salle, who died in 1719. St. Herman Joseph and St. Jean-Baptiste de La Salle, pray for us. Thank you for joining us for this brief summary of the life of today's saint. Tomorrow's saints are Saint Julie Biard and Blessed Mary Teresa Quevedo. To access all of our Saint of the Day recordings as podcasts, head to crusadechannel.com/saints. You can learn more about our sisters and contribute to the building of our convent by visiting stphilomenaconvent.org. I'm Sister Maria Filomena, and until next time, God bless and Mary keep you.
Attention Coffee Police Academy students. We will now call the roll. CPA candidate Jones.
Present.
Joe Arabica Friday.
Present.
Tommy.
Oh, I'm here, sir. I just can't seem to keep my eyes open since I started drinking this Barrett Bargain Basement Stale Bean Water.
And just why are you violating CPA coffee code SBW1AM?
Well, that's easy. So I can save up money to get into the Coffee Cop Academy.
Son, breaking CPA rules so you can get into CPA is no way to become a coffee cop. Now, I am afraid we're going to have to...
Uh-oh. Sounds like Lou has found the academy, and he's on his second cup of Abbey Roast.
What does he want?
He wants to know why the CPA didn't recognize his Rougarou nouns.
Rougarou nouns? And I'm the one that rejected his application.
Will Lou the Rougarou have his revenge and grind the coffee cop into espresso? Stay tuned to this station for our next episode. And in the meantime, order Abbey Roast coffee at shop.mikechurch.com.
Hey, Mick. Yesterday's show wasn't enough. It's time to crack open another can of Mike Church Show whooping.
This guy just don't want to win, you know. He wants to story. He wants to humiliate you. He wants to prove to the whole world that it was nothing but some kind of a freak the first time.
Hey, freaks don't hear the rocky music before they leave satellite radio.
How about Fresca?
The Mike Church Show. Weekday mornings on the Crusade channel. King-sized truth. From radio-sized speakers.
You and I in a little toy shop. Buy a bag of balloons with the money we've got. Set them free at the break of dawn. Till one by one they were gone. Back at base, box in the software. Flash the message, something's out there. Floating in the summer sky. 99 red balloons go by.
You know, this song's about dropping a nuke. You know, when they said coming up on the 35th anniversary of the launch of the Mike Church Show on April the 20th, when they asked me in late March 1992 if I wanted to do a show on then 1560 AM WSLA in Slidell, Louisiana, they left the part out about covering vaporizing entire civilizations with American military might. Hey, Mike, do you want to be on air when we incinerate and turn 96 million people into atoms? Oh, yeah, I can't wait. Yeah, how do I get... What's the format for covering that? So, if you just missed it, did you see that Piers Morgan told Trump on Sunday afternoon, delete it? You're embarrassing yourself and your country now. Delete it. And now he's doubled and tripled and quadrupled down. We're threatened to use a nuclear incendiary device on the country of Iran. I don't have words. I do not know what I am supposed to say. I don't know what I am supposed to do. I don't want to be Walter Cronkite at the news desk when I have to go and announce that Kennedy's been shot in the head and murdered. What are you supposed to do here? I'm going to ask the question again. Where is Congress? You can't allow this to happen. Mr. Vice President, I don't care that you had a mission go over there in Hungary. You need to get on the phone and you need to tell your boss that he's a crazy man or that somebody better intervene here. This is from the IRGC now. IRGC warning to neighboring countries. Restraint is over. We will target the infrastructure. Now oil is going to go to $150 a barrel. We will target the infrastructure of the U.S. and its allies so that the U.S. and its allies will be deprived of regional oil and gas for years to come. Regional U.S. partners should also know that until today, due to good neighborly relations, we have shown great restraint and had considerations in choosing retaliation targets. But from now on, all those considerations are removed. So this is, in my humble estimation, a way to tell the Saudi Arabians, the Qataris, the United Arab Emirates, the Kuwaitis, and the rest of them, you better call your boy and tell him to stand down. Because if you don't, you're going to get it. And it's given them an 8 p.m. deadline. So we're gonna you know, there have been several canonized Catholic saints who were told the time of their death. One was, we just did her, St. Catherine, Margaret of Cortana. Margaret of Cortana was told by Our Lady, was told when she was going to die. Our Lady told her. And so she could be prepared or whatever. Well, the people of Iran have been told, well, you have until 8 p.m. tonight. Now, if you're an Iranian citizen, what are you supposed to do? There's no voting, hoping, and coping in Iran. The leadership is going like, you do this, and you are starting a war, and there's going to be retaliation. I have 100% backing. MAGA loves me. You have to, okay, this is the mentality. You have to play number 3 again. This is the mentality behind what is happening.
Why would they want you to blow up their infrastructure, to cut off their power? Wouldn't that be punishing Iranians for the actions of the regime?
They would be willing to, and it's suffering, they would be willing to suffer that in order to have freedom. The Iranians have, and we've had numerous intercepts. Please keep bombing. Bombs that are dropping near their homes. Please keep bombing. Do it. And these are people that are living where the bombs are exploding. And when we leave and we're not hitting those areas, they're saying, please come back, come back, come back. These are the people. I don't know what they do. All I can tell you is they want freedom. They have lived in a world that you know nothing about. It's a violent, horrible world where if you protest, you are shot. Remember the great woman protests where they had 400,000, 500,000 women, and they were all enthused and they were going to protest, and everybody said, oh, the regime's going to come to an end. And then all of a sudden, boom, boom.
All right, stop the tape. Stop the tape. Where's the proof of this? We've been hearing about, this is COVID all over again. We've been hearing about pyramids of dead bodies being piled up in streets. Just like during COVID, they had to bring the reefer trucks in. Fauci told me they were all going to die, and I had to, Scarf Vader gave me we had to do it. We had to shut the country down. Horrible things happening during Christian Holy Weeks when this guy is president. Yep. Horrible things. Play Glenn Greenwald. Number 10. Again, I'm kind of new at broadcasting and giving you live coverage at the end of the world, so forgive me if I don't seem to have all of the answers today. This is my first go-around at vaporizing an entire civilization of 96 million people, and knowing that I am a citizen of the country that's going to be responsible for doing it. But that country is a threat to all of humanity and civilization, not ours. I have leadership that is nowhere. Where are they? Certainly anyone, and I don't care what your position is. If you're a Catholic and you're hearing this, you have a duty today. You know, it's I guess I could. No, you have a duty today to speak up and say, like hell you're going to. Not in my name. These people are going to be killed in your name, listeners. In our names. Here's Glenn Greenwald or Rob Schmidt, who goes, oh, wait a minute now, you can't come on our airwaves and say this. Well, you do. You invited me.
Israel or Iran, which do you think is more dangerous to the West?
Right now, I think Israel, with its gigantic nuclear stockpile led by religious and political fanatics, is infinitely more dangerous to the United States than Iran is.
You think it's more fanatical in Israel than it is in Iran?
Look at how many countries they've attacked in the last 3 years. There's 7 or 8 different countries they've attacked. They've stolen land from Syria, Lebanon. They vaporized people in Gaza.
That they're constantly
Israel
attacked.
Is infinitely more dangerous.
They're constantly attacked for existing. I mean, you're a Jewish guy, right? You understand that.
No, that's not why. That's not why they're attacked. That's not why Israel is attacked. You know, there's a very complex history of them stealing land and being expansionist. But at the end of the day, I thought Donald Trump was going to focus on the American worker, the American community, revitalizing our Where is all that? We're only focused on the Middle East and wars in the Middle East. This is madness.
Look at the headline on Fox. Trump issues new Iran threat ahead of 8 p.m. deadline. Right now, Hannity's in the back room going like, finally, we're going to get... Levin's going like, yes! Finally!
How do you escalate before a deadline? Why would you do that?
Why would you escalate before a deadline, Maggie is asking. Play Chris... You won't believe this. Krispy Kreme is right. Krispy Kreme is right. I never thought I'd say that. Christie at the Harvard Institute of Politics. I wonder what he thinks, seriously, about the state of mind of Trump right now. Where's this guy's family? Krispy Kreme.
I don't think they are, this period of our time, I call this the last gasp of the most selfish generation in American history. The baby boomers. The most selfish generation in American history. The most self-centered generation in American history. The least sacrificing generation.
True story.
In American history. And you know, you look at Biden and Trump in particular, and they personify that. And how do they do it? Trump every day shows us. Biden, by running again, proved what a selfish, selfish man he is. Because everybody knew he wasn't up to it. But not him. I'm the only one who could beat Donald Trump. Well, there you go. You made your own history happen. So,
this is something that's come up privately with myself and some of my other younger family members about certain other members of the family, of our family, or people that we know. And it is true, I believe. One of the things that you can see, now, I can't talk about this without angering someone, so you just might as well just consign yourself that you're going to get angry. And by the way, is there anything more selfish than the boomer, Trump, threatening to annihilate an entire civilization? Give me my way, open the straight up or I'll duke you. This is the epitome of selfishness. Where do you see this selfishness? What is it on display as? Where might you see it? Well, there's a couple things with that greatest generation, and one of the price tags that they paid when they came back from the European war was that, again, they suffered. It wasn't called this then, but they suffered PTSD. Those men had to go into places in France and Germany and Italy, some of them in Africa, certainly in the Pacific theater, on the islands, on the Philippines, the naval battles on Iwo Jima and the other islands, and they had to kill men. Because men were trying to kill them. So it was either kill or be killed, and they had to kill in some of the most savage ways possibly imaginable. Some of them were witness to the carnage of D-Day. In any event, they came back, millions of them, psychologically damaged, we call it PTSD today, by the war. I don't blame them. I don't fault them. They did what they were told to do. They signed their draft cards, and they were drafted, and they went over there, and they did what they were told to do, and the price that they paid. Now, ultimately, there was the boom, of course, and this is when the 9 million are put back to work into the private sector. The war is over. You get Eisenhower in there as president. Certain things happen. And you think that, oh, we had this great flourishing in the 1950s, but right there below the surface, right, bubbling beneath that surface, was this bomb that was World War II. One of the ways that you can see this is you could see it in the dividing line between the way many of those, now not all of them, please do not misunderstand, this is not a blanket accusation. I am not painting with the broadest of all brushes, but it does happen. And again, I don't blame them. At the way grandchildren are treated today. Now, I can also show you people that are boomers that treat their grandchildren like gold. I mean, like the greatest thing that ever happened. God bless you. I wish everyone was like you. And I can just tell you, if I'm inside a very large family, you're a model. And we know lots of people that aren't models. They can scrape together 150 grand to go buy an RV, though. And do all the other things that they so selfishly do. I agree with Christy. And then want to carp and whine and complain and throw Trumpy and hissy fits when the children or the grandchildren don't do exactly what they want them to do. And my thing is, like, well, where were you when such and such needed some tough love or some discipline? How come you were missing the most important junctures in the kid's life or in your own children's life? Why do you tell your own children that they're worthless? This generation that's running around and handing out nothing but opprobrium to their children and grandchildren. You're not fixing the problem. And you think that you're blameless. And look, I've seen it. So I actually agree. And again, that generation didn't ask for that. They didn't ask to be sent over there to go anywhere. I think that that's the root cause of what happened to them, though. How did Paula White get started? Tucker did an interview with some young man named Nathan Apfel, or Apfel. I don't know the guy. Some of it, what he said, though, was interesting. Now, and I think that we should just talk about, again, why are we in this position? Rod Dreher mentioned in his piece where I was reading you about the war between Trump and the Vatican. And he got that from the Free Press, and it was written by a guy named Mattia Ferrarasi, a senior Italian journalist. Well, I can tell you that Edward Penton, who is also a good Vatican reporter, corroborates this story. If Edward Penton said it happened, that probably happened. So, and this is the Trump administration trying to get the Vatican on their side. I'll wager you the Holy Father will come out and tell Trump something about his threatened to nuke the Iranian civilization off the map. Dreher said, Mattia told me a few weeks ago about the January meeting. I was able to confirm independently that it happened. Ferraresi reports that in one meeting, one American official, not identified in the report, brought up the Avignon papacy with the papal nuncio. Now, if you don't know about the Avignon papacy, this is when there was confusion. This is at the time when St. Catherine of Siena was alive, because she was writing letters to two of them, telling them, there can only be one Holy Father. You two need to settle this, and you need to, whoever the Pope is, needs to be in Rome, not in Avignon. Now, this was because the French government was trying to use the papacy to sign off on things that the French were doing that were unjust and were wrong. And so they're like, all right, Rome won't sign off on it, fine. We'll have our own Pope in Avignon. And he'll agree with us. Just absolutely, and Dreher says this was the time when the French crown used his power to force the state's will on the church. Just absolutely extraordinary and then he says that a U.S. official would speak to a papal diplomat like this. Can you imagine this? This guy's representing the Holy Father and is being told, you're going to endorse our wars in the Middle East, the Israeli Zionist position, and you're going to like it because we're the most powerful military on earth and there's nothing you can do to stop us. You know, the people that warned about Trump starting more wars, he's so crazy. They're not even out nanya boo-booing because they can't believe it. You'd think that Hillary would be out there going, nanya boo-boo, I told you. But instead, is Hillary having a sane moment where she's going like, what in the hell? I never thought the guy was actually going to do it. Is there a spiritual war in the White House? I don't know. That's do number 15. This is Nathan Apfel with Tucker Carlson.
Literally the most disgusting evil in a tweet that I've ever read.
Totally agree.
From a president. And I'm like, wait, but our Christian leaders are still going to try to protect that and justify.
Where are these Christians?
Yeah, I agree. It's disgusting at all levels. And we were talking about spiritual war. I think there's a massive spiritual war going on in the White House right now. And it starts with the spiritual leaders that are standing next to and over Trump.
I think a lot of us were too cynical and approached this as theater, which it may have been intended to be. You know, get whatever money-hungry dispensationalists or, fallen, screwed up people who don't have real congregations and get them to sort of put the imprimatur of the New Testament on what is clearly in violation of like basic Christian principles. And, let's get the evangelicals on board for this. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's the whole story. Mm-hmm. I think these are instruments of spiritual war, these people. This is not just theater. Like, this is real.
100%. Yeah. Well, we live in so when we look, but let's go into the Old Testament again. The tabernacle, the Holy of Holies, and then the outer rooms. There was a veil that separated spiritual from physical. When Christ died on that cross, what happened to that veil?
It was rent in half.
Tore down, which meant the spiritual world and the physical worlds combine. And hence the bridge from physical nation Israel to spiritual nation.
By the way, okay, thank you very much. There's more on this I want to hear. I just want to drop some commentary in here. One of my friends has been telling me since Trump was elected and since Jared Kushner reared his ugly head that what was on the table was the Israeli plan to annihilate Iran. People that work inside of the Likud and inside of the Knesset use the word annihilation. They use it in their vernacular. It's part of how they talk. They talk about annihilating Iran. They talk about the annihilation of Iran's capabilities. They use the word and the term annihilate. They don't use it. That's not a punch word. That's the actual mission. I'll tell you more when we come back. Don't touch that dial.
It's not tape or a Post-it or a candy bar, but this new 3M
is the freshest spin on true crime shows since dinosaurs were solving cold cases with fossil evidence. Yeah, it's that original, folks.
Mom's Murders and Mysteries. New episodes debut every Tuesday night, 6:30 East, 4 West, exclusively on the Crusade channel. Live talk podcast radio, the way it should be.
Hi, folks. It's Mike Church, founder of Founding Father Films, asking you to learn the true stories of America's founding by purchasing my movie, The Road to Independence, the movie. The Road to Independence tells the exciting story of the Founding Fathers' struggle to declare independence.
Richard Henry Lee rises to be recognized and begins to list what will become known as the Lee Resolutions, the actual first pronouncement of America's independence.
Resolved that these united colonies are, and of right ought to be, free and independent states. This animated movie comes complete with collector's booklets, DTS surround sound, and are packed with hours of bonus features. Learn the true stories of America's founding and order Mike Church's The Road to Independence on DVD and CD. Available now at mikechurch.com/DVD and by calling 844-527-8723.
Broadcasting 50,000 kilowatts from atop the tallest radio tower on the planet. We are KRSD, the Crusade Channel, Madisonville.
Well, it's what our call letters would be if we were on FM.
Crusade Channel News. News you can trust.
Because let's face it, the truth just sounds different. Like a symphony of facts.
And now, from the Crusade Channel News Desk, here's Magdalene Rose.
Hello, Red, White, and Dude Nation. Welcome to Tuesday, April 7th, 2026. I'm Magdalene Rose at the Mike Church Show News Desk. This report is brought to you by the all-new Mike Church Show website and Dude Nation membership service. Check it out today at the all-new MikeChurch.com. Here's what to listen to for this hour. An Iranian official on Tuesday called on youths in the country to form human chains around power plants ahead of potential strikes threatened by President Trump. Ali Zarami, identified by Iranian state television as the secretary of the Supreme Council of Youth and Adolescents, made the comments in a video message broadcast early on Tuesday. I invite all young people, athletes, artists, students, and university students, and their professors, he said. He urged people to gather Tuesday at 2 p.m. around the power plants that are our national asset in the capital, regardless of any taste or political viewpoint, belonging to the future of Iran and to the Iranian youth. Iran has previously formed human chain demonstrations, also known as human shields, around its nuclear sites during times of escalated tension with Western nations. Airlines in Asia are cutting flights carrying extra fuel from home airports and increasing refueling stops as the ongoing war on Iran has shortened jet fuel supply in some countries and led to soaring prices. European carriers are preparing for similar disruptions after Iran's blockade of the Strait of Hormuz cut off about 21% of global seaborne jet fuel supply, according to global data and analytics from Kepler. Previous oil shocks drove up prices, but this one is also impacting physical supply, forcing governments and airlines and airports to reconsider fuel rationing. In my conversation with airlines, they are very concerned about what the future looks like because we do not know when the war will end and we do not know when the supply chain and feedstock will come from the Gulf area. Chuck Yosef, founder of aviation consultancy Edo Analytics, told Reuters. The UN Secretary General warned the Trump administration that attacking civilian infrastructure in Iran is prohibited under international law, according to his spokesman. Even if specific civilian infrastructure were to qualify as a military objective, the spokesman said, an attack on these civilian targets would still be banned if it risks excessive incidental civilian harm. If President Trump moves forward with his threats to strike power plants and bridges, the spokesman said a court would determine whether the attack amounts to war crimes. An Iranian drone strike hit a home in Iraq's Kurdish region, killing 2 people according to authorities. The drone struck at the house in a village of Zargowi in Erbil province early on Tuesday, the counterterrorism director of the northern Kurdish region said in a statement. In National Calendar Day news, today is National Coffee Cake Day. Our quote of the day, know that the greatest service that man can offer to God is to help convert souls. St. Rose of Lima.
This is a pixel. I'm Groot. Now, if you put a couple of million of these guys together, you can make a sentence on an LED screen. Put a couple of billion of them together, and you can make a whole page. Put 360 billion of them, and you got Chesterton's book, Orthodoxy. But it doesn't smell like a book, and it burns teeny little holes in your cornea. So is the pixel really your friend? I'm Groot. No, but the Founders Trading Post is your friend, and we have actual books with actual smelly pages. Plus, our little bookstore has everything you'd expect. I'm Groot. Yes, Groot, to the gourmet coffee, but no to the One Tree Hill sappy guitar music.
Pick up a copy of G.K. Chesterton's Orthodoxy, plus many other Chesterton titles at shop.mikechurch.com.
Looking at lifestyle and cultural headlines, our Saint of the Day. Learn more about today's Saint of the Day in today's Saint of the Day podcast. U.S. President Donald Trump endorsed a former top advisor to ex-UK Prime Minister David Cameron for governor of California is shaking up the unpredictable race in the heavily Democratic state. Trump declared Republican candidate Steve Hilton would be a great governor in a Truth Social post. The president argued that Democrats have done an absolutely horrendous job in California and that people are fleeing the state. Hilton is one of 10 total candidates running in the June 2nd primary. The two top finishers, regardless of party, will advance the general election. Republicans have not won a statewide election in California in 2 decades. Hilton posted on X on Monday that he was deeply honored to receive the Republican president's endorsement. But Trump's backing could become a hindrance if Hilton faces a Democrat in November's election in the liberal-leaning state. Hilton, who now lives in California, previously served as a top aide to David Cameron from 2010 to 2012, but later grew critical of the conservative prime minister's immigration policy or lack thereof. Hilton went on to host a Fox News show for several years and continues to contribute to the conservative news network. He is running for governor on a platform of lower taxes and cutting back on the state budget, while helping lower housing and lower other costs of living for families. Hilton joined Stanford University in California as a visiting scholar in 2012 and said he was applying for U.S. citizenship in 2019. Democrats dominate California state politics, but Republicans view this as a rare chance to capture the governor's mansion because of a splintered Democratic field of candidates in this state's so-called jungle primary system. Trump's endorsement of Hilton may squeeze out other Republicans in the race, including Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco. A March poll by the University of California, Berkeley's Institute of Governmental Studies rattled the political establishment after it suggested Hilton and Bianco were ahead of the Democratic contenders. Democrats have been alarmed enough that the top state party officials called for some candidates on the Democrat side to drop out in order to assure Democrat victory. I'm Magdalene Rose for the Mike Church Show in the Red, White, and Dude Nation, because ethics in broadcasting matters.
When most people hear the word coffee, they conjure up visions of a ceramic mug in the palm of both hands and a woman slowly sipping. This isn't a Folgers commercial. It's for cappuccino holy roast, and here's how I take mine. With a dash of vanilla, a pinch of cinnamon, a spoonful of honey, and lots of heavy cream. Add some ice, shake, and then enjoy, while knowing that's $6 the libs at Starbucks can't spend to ruin my life and yours.
Cappuccino Holy Roast in whole bean or grind is available at shop.mychurch.com.
Listen, were you forced into getting a solar contract and now you just don't want it anymore? Maybe the solar company misled you. Or is your solar contract buried with hidden fees? Are you not saving the amount of money you thought you would on your energy costs? Don't worry. At the Solar Exit Hotline, we can help you cancel your solar contract, even if the panels are already installed. Our experienced legal team will review your contract and help you cancel it, possibly saving you thousands of dollars. You got to call right now for complete details. So listen, if you're not happy with your solar contract for any reason, we are here to help you cancel it. Call the Solar Exit Hotline now for immediate options to help you exit your solar contract. This call is 100% free.
800-932-1789. 800-932-1789. 800-932-1789. That's 800-932-1789.
The Mike Church Show wanted to choose a special term for the loyal and erudite members of our audience. But dude was already taken.
Dude. 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 Dude.
So we picked Veritas instead. Hey, Cosgrove, Veritas meets to solve the world's problems every morning with a KingDude. Will you be there?
It's a deal.
The Mike Church Show, heard exclusively on the Veritas Radio Network's Crusade.
Oh, come on, Captain. You're not the first man to get a thrill from murdering someone. I see it all the time.
Get out!
Or what? You'll kill me? Like you killed Ensign Lynch?
There was no way to save him.
You didn't even try. Where was your involved sensibility then?
I don't have time for this.
Oh, hey, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt your little quest. Captain Ahab has to go hunt his whale.
This is not about revenge.
Liar!
This is about saving the future of humanity.
Jean-Luc, blow up the damn ship!
No! No! I will not sacrifice the Enterprise. We've made too many compromises already. Too many retreats. They invade our space, and we fall back. They assimilate entire worlds, and we fall back. Not again. The line must be drawn here. this far, no farther. I will make them pay for what they've done.
Won't you come see about me? I'll be alone, dancing, you know it, baby. Tell me your troubles and doubts, giving me everything inside and out. And love strange, so real in the dark. Think of the tender things that we were working on. Slow change may pull us apart. When the light gets into your heart, baby, don't you forget about me. Don't you forget about me.
Well, now we're bombing Karg Island. J.D. Vance is in Hungary saying, yeah, POTUS can wipe them off the face of the earth if they don't come to the table. You were wondering where the... That's interesting, is it not? Vance's new book is all about his conversion to the faith. And in the one instance when your faith is actually needed more, God... Boy, folks, this is just driving me up a wall. In the one instance... more than one instance. You have a book coming out, JD. It's called Communion, isn't it? The story of my conversion to the Catholic faith, or something to that effect. You're telling the world that you want to tell the story about how you came to the faith, and that you apparently, I want everyone to know that maybe they ought to consider it as well. Converting to the faith is one thing, practicing it is another. You don't get a separate confession line for what you do in public. We talked about this. For what you do in your job. Where are the Catholics in the Trump administration to tell him, stop, you can't do this? Yesterday, Alex Jones.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the freaking frogs gay. Do you understand that?
Turn the freaking frogs gay.
Crap.
Alex Jones said wield 25th Amendment. His the crisis in the leadership of faith is exactly that. Anyone can do it when it's easy. JD, Marco, anyone can be a garden variety holiday Catholic. Oh yeah, I go on the big day like Christmas, Easter, and Ash Wednesday. Yeah, get out of my way, Chris Paul. You bother me. I think I read somewhere that every Sunday is a holy day of obligation. Leadership is when you do things that are not popular. Leadership is when you have to tell someone like a Trump, you can't do this. I'm advising you as your vice president and as also a Catholic, you should listen to the Holy Father. You should listen to the people that are writing, bishops that are writing editorials, imploring you to end your unjust war against these people. Bring it to an end. Here, Michael Schellenberger just put this out 10 minutes ago. Investors in denial about coming energy price shock, say leading analysts. There are people out there, there's a tweet. I didn't watch it, but somebody sent it to a dear friend sent it to me. People that are in positions of authority or leadership or popularity, especially if you're a Catholic, now is the time. I urge you, your voice must be heard. And I said this earlier. Joe Kent just basically just reiterated what I said. I'm like, you're not going to annihilate the Iranians. You're going to annihilate the United States. It's over. The rest of the world's going to look at us as the aggressor now. You're not going to be a kind, benevolent superpower. Nobody's going to want your stinking McDonald's or Levi jeans. They're going to go like, I don't want to turn into a nutcase like them. Marjorie Taylor Greene invoked the 25th Amendment moments ago. I put it out. It's on my Twitter. It's on my X. I said it. I'll say it again. Invoke the 25th Amendment. Schellenberger, many investors believe the energy crisis will soon correct itself. Well, that's because you're thinking you're dealing with Dandy Don Trump. The guy who was on The Apprentice, the guy who promised that we're going to have double-digit GDP growth. The guy that said all those people that Mike Rowe were, those young people that were helping find dirty jobs, there were going to be hundreds of thousands of millions more of them are going to be needed. We're going to have all this building and construction and infrastructure we are going to build. Now the only infrastructure we talk about is destroying infrastructure in Iran. And in the Middle East, this is bizarro world. Wall Street banks continue to price in the diplomatic de-escalation scenario in which a back-channel deal allows for a humanitarian corridor through the Strait of Hormuz. On Friday, Iran exempted Iraq from its shipping restrictions, potentially releasing 3 million barrels per day of Iraqi crude. A French container ship crossed the strait this week, as I told you. For the first Western vessel to do so since the war began, the White House says Trump is confident the strait will be open very soon. Well, he's not confident the strait's going to be open. The Iranians are telling him, go screw yourself. You chose to do this. But dozens of oil and gas traders, executives, and shippers say that neither small individual nor large institutional investors have grasped the severity of the situation. Investors believe that the strait will be open and Trump will prevail. This is all this nonsense. Here, mark the date, Maggie. What is it? Today's April the 7th, year of our Lord and Savior, Anno Domini, 2026. I'm going to agree with Jeff Schaefer. Schaefer 13, today's your lucky day, pal. I agree with Schaefer. Enough of this 4D chess bull. This is not 4D chess. This is insanity. Call it what it is. You know, the people that are going, oh, this is just this is brinksmanship. No, this is a madman who's got nukes. That's what this is. It is a doomsday scenario. Look, I think we're already ruined. I told you earlier, the confidence in American leadership, shigong. Why would anyone go MAGA and believe anyone, including anyone that's in this cabinet, that you're the guy or you're the gal that's going to make America great again? You're going to turn this thing around. I don't believe you. So let me get back to, when I just finish up the statement from Schellenberger. Investors believe that the strait will be open and Trump will prevail, said the Carlyle Group's Jeff Curry in a recent conversation with energy analyst Amrita Sen. Even though nobody's articulated a plan of how they're going to open it. Strait of Hormuz, and then he gives some details on it. And then the rest of it is for subscribers only. Michael, with all due respect, Mr. Schellenberger, it is at a time like this, remove the paywall. Take it down. You should publish that. Especially if you think people truly need to be warned, your little $9.95 a month doesn't matter. If there's going to be an energy crunch like there was in the 1970s, or maybe this will be the worst one ever. You know, I said this earlier, there is a story at Zero Hedge where, here it is. It's a premium article. I can't read it again. Take the paywall down, Tyler. What countries will run out of energy first? As discussed yesterday, the countdown to how long before the world hits crude oil operational minimum. By the way, what is the price of oil right now? Staying steady at $115 a barrel. Nobody believes that there is a de-escalation. Yeah, but that's not going to matter this, because we got our own crude oil and this and that and the other. We need to let Trump carry out and pay his 4D chess. You really think that that's what's going on here? Previously, I might have been able to say this. I was just, Maggie was just reading out loud some of the tweets that she was seeing during the break. Marjorie Taylor Greene, for example, saying it's 25th Amendment time. Spectator Index just put this out. Breaking. Pakistani official says the country will stand with Saudi Arabia under their military pact as the conflict escalates, according to Reuters report. Oh, great. The Israelis finally get what they want, the annihilation of Iran and a complete and total global conflict here. Who else do the Israelis want wiped from the face of the earth so they can send the IDF in there and try and take it over? By the way, the wording that Trump is now using, that's IDF talk. That's escalation. And by the by, if they keep bombing Karg Island, what's on Karg Island? The Middle East oil supply. Well, not all of it, but the Iranian. If you start burning crude oil, you're by definition telling the global markets you ain't seen nothing yet. Somebody, a friend has asked me to try and make an appeal to heaven and then to appeal to Our Lady, Queen of Peace, Mary Queen of Peace. There's a church right down the road from here called Mary Queen of Peace. To appeal to Mary Queen of Peace to intercede and to bring this conflict and this escalation to an end. And I'm happy to say that I could do it and that we should do it and that everyone should be praying. As I said earlier, you can't give J.D. Vance, because he's vice president, a pass. You're relying on him now to be a Catholic. Pray for him. Marco Rubio, you need to stop, boy. You're a cradle Catholic, for heaven's sake. You think God's going to give you a pass because Trump mean tweeted you? This goes for all the other Catholics that are in that White House that are keeping mum and not saying anything. This goes for members of Congress. Where are you? At this juncture in time, this is when Catholics need to lead. It's when you need to say, no, the church says this is unjust, and what you're talking about doing is not only going to cause a humanitarian crisis, you're playing in Beelzebub's zone now. You're playing handball, literally, with the devil. Now what? I just heard what was that? So yeah, I am happy to say that yes, there should be a way you could say call it a rosary of reparation. We should all say that we could say it after the Angelus today at noon. Is anyone tuning into the Crusade channel now during the middle of the day? It airs every day at noon. The bells go off. They're beautiful. The monk chants in Latin, chants the first verse of Angelus. And then Maggie and I kick in and pray the rest with you. So maybe after Angelus today, we could do a rosary of reparation. If you send me enough messages, let me know that you're going to join, and I'll be happy to do it. And I think you're right, and I think that's exactly what's called for. All right, what is this, Maggie? Iran just in from Disclosed.tv. Iran closes all diplomatic and indirect channels of communication with the U.S., suspending the exchange of messages following Trump's threat to kill Iran's whole civilization. Do you blame them? The Iranian force and our Iranian X account. Dear Americans, your president is a madman. Is there a spiritual war going on in the White House? Here, I actually agree with. I want to hear 16 and 17, but I want to hear 17 first.
I already played 16.
You played 15.
No.
Oh, you played 16. Okay, the most evil tweet that's ever come out. Well, no, Tucker, he's one-upped you. It's not the most evil. If you're a Catholic, all Christians should. So let me stop saying Catholic, but certainly, because I can speak with some conviction, not authority, conviction, to what Catholics should do. Raise your voice wherever it is. Your family, in your house, in your own prayer life. Do it. Do it today. Our Lady, Mary Queen of Peace. We need peace. Play number 17. Now, this is what I was getting at the other day when I was talking about and by the way, with the death of MAGA and with the death of what the maniac, I'm trying to think of what I'm going to call Don, Madman Don. He's killing the things that he's fighting for. You want the court to rule on birthright citizenship? What difference does it make? Who's going to want to come here? You know what? It's a good thing they didn't put the wall up, because we may be trying to get out. You want us to fight for one man, one vote, voter ID and all that? Why? Does it matter? We voted for you, and now we have Slim Pickens riding an ICBM and Dr. Strangelove. Except this isn't Slim Pickens, it's the President of the United States. So yeah, some wheel has come off the bus. Play 17, please.
I would actually argue, and this is a bold statement, the Democratic Republic is the greatest government experiment in the history of humanity. I would say
I've
that.
enjoyed it.
You've
Yeah.
enjoyed it? Yeah, so we enjoy it. I love America. You love America.
I do.
Capitalism should not be anywhere near Christianity.
Thank you.
You think?
Christianity is more, and I don't like the word socialist with the weight it carries, but Christianity is socialism at its core.
Non-authoritarian.
It's the marker to build social capital. You look at that early Church of Acts, and it transformed Rome within a couple hundred years, the greatest superpower of its time, to where Constantine was like, I'm a Christian hanging out with these dudes. They had no money, they had no buildings, but somehow the love of their neighbor transformed the greatest superpower of its time. That's dangerous.
So I would just take this as the jumping off place to say that this is why we have the Crusade Radio Guild and why you should support it. Why you should support our mission, ethics in broadcasting. What is ethics in broadcasting? You know, I started listening to Brother Francis Malou's series on ethics again. I told him at his church after listening to ethics episode 1 on Saturday, and everyone, if you just listen to one episode, listen to episode 1. Because Brother gives a great preview. He quotes Aristotle and he quotes Chesterton and a feud that Chesterton had with H.L. Mencken back in the 1920s, a written feud that okay, so what Nathan just said. Let me put this in Catholic social social kingship of Christ terms. What is the Crusade Radio Guild? I'm just going to give an example. What does it say about other broadcasters, especially those that are trying to do the right thing and trying to be ethical and are Christians or pronounced that they are Catholics? What does it call them? Well, you call them competition. No, you don't call them competition. This is what you don't understand and what you can't understand. You cannot understand that in Christendom, if you took the vocation up, because it was probably handed down to you and you learned it from your father, who learned it from your grandfather, who learned it from your great-grandfather, if you took up the vocation of being a baker on the east side of Smallville, the guy that was the baker on the south side or the north side or the west side was not your competition. He was just another baker. You did not view the vocation of feeding people and your own family by your expertise and your love. This is what I talked about this before. I tried to tell Cajuns this. Stop calling it Cajun food. It's fine if you want to call it Catholic food. Why is it so famous? Why does everyone want to come to Louisiana? Because of the Catholics. Remember when Michael Curick came here and he goes, man, I don't know, Mike, what is it with this town? What is it with this area? Everyone is so nice. Everyone is so cool. They're so helpful. I said, Michael, you're in basically a former Catholic confessional state. Can't you tell? That's what it would be like. We'll be back.
You want your talk radio shaken,
You expect me to talk?
not stirred.
No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die.
Truth never dies on the Veritas Radio Network's Crusade.
Hello, Red, White, and Dude Nation. I'm Magdalene Rose at the Mike Church Show News Desk with your crucials for Tuesday, April 7th, 2026. This report is brought to you by the all-new Mike Church Show website and Dude Nation membership service. Check it out today at the all-new MikeChurch.com. Here's your In-the-Market report. U.S. stocks closed higher on Monday, April 6th, as investors navigated geopolitical tensions with the Dow rising 0.36%, the S&P 500 up 0.44%, and NASDAQ gaining up 0.54%. Markets reacted to strong Friday employment data and monitored oil prices nearing $110 per barrel, while looking ahead to upcoming inflation reports. Investor sentiment was boosted by strong non-farm payrolls, 178,000 added in March, and hopes for a ceasefire in the Middle East. Oil prices remained elevated with crude oil near $110 per barrel as gasoline prices averaged $4.12 per gallon. The 10-year Treasury yield declined slightly to 4.33%. March average hourly wages rose a less than expected 0.2% monthly and 3.5% year over year. The annual growth was the lowest since May 2021. At some point, softer wage growth and higher non-discretionary costs such as gas could hurt consumer demand if the war continues. I'm Magdalene Rose for the Mike Church Show and the Red, White, and Dude Nation.
Hi, folks. It's Mike Church, founder of Founding Father Films, asking you to learn the true stories of America's founding by purchasing my movie, The Spirit of 76. The Spirit of 76 details the true story of the writing and ratifying of the U.S. Constitution.
He is to be supported in extravagant magnificence, so that the whole of our property may be taken by this American government by laying what taxes they please, giving themselves what salaries they please, and suspending our laws at their pleasure.
This animated movie comes complete with collector's booklets, DTS surround sound, and is packed with hours of bonus features. Learn the true stories of America's founding and order Mike Church's The Spirit of 76 on a 2 DVD or 3 CD set. Available now at MikeChurch.com/DVD and by calling 844-527-8723.
With MedGuard Alert, you're never alone. You can connect with medical professionals anywhere, anytime. And now MedGuard is introducing our exclusive new Care Watch. If you need help quickly, use it from anywhere to contact medical professionals. No cell phone required. The Care Watch is not only a life-saving medical alert device, it's a revolutionary health monitoring system that checks your blood pressure, heart rate, oxygen saturation, and much more. And here's the best part. If you have Medicaid, you may qualify to get your Care Watch for free. The Care Watch is only available through MedGuard Alert. Call us right now. We have monitoring programs starting as low as $1 a day. The call is free, activation is free, shipping is free, and no contract is required. Remember, with Medicaid, you may qualify to get your Care Watch for free. Call us to get your Care Watch right now.
800-681-8020. 800-681-8020. 800-681-8020. That's 800-681-8020.
Everybody loves a good trilogy. The Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, and now the KingDude Seasoning Trilogy. There's Beast and Butt Rub, Acadiana Steak, and the brand new Chicken Mamu Seasoning, a lemon herb-based rub that's won trophies in barbecue chicken cook-offs. Now, we've bundled all 3 spices together, and you can get them for one low price for less than it costs to rent a movie trilogy. And the KingDude offers you his personal money-back guaranteed of your taste buds' complete satisfaction. Order a KingDude Seasoning Trilogy today at shop.mikechurch.com.
The research department of the Mike Church Show has learned that most people listen to this show because you want your truth neat, straight up, and never watered down.
Hey, look, mister. We serve hard drinks in here for men who want to get drunk fast, and we don't need any characters around to give the joint atmosphere. Is that clear?
And the best part about taking in 100 proof truth is you can drive at the same time. And you'll never get a hangover.
I'm so wasted!
The bar at the Mike Church Show opens every weekday morning at 8 a.m. exclusively on the Veritas Radio Network's Crusade.
Let's do it! You gotta beat the clock, you gotta beat the clock.
You can boogie, love disco, love that disco sound. Move on your body, spinning round and round. But don't forget, oh no. Don't forget, oh no. The stars on 45 keep on turning in your mind. But we can work it out. Remember, twist the shout. You still not tell me why, and no reply.
This portion of the program is brought to you by my friends at Proselytize. How you like my tie? Pocket square vest combo today. My beautiful Indian silk, electric gray, and navy blue Jerusalem cross tie is just the perfect combo with this vest here. And we have them in 16 different varieties. You have the Jerusalem cross in at least 3 different color combinations. The St. Joseph to Easter Sunday Mass. I wore my St. Benedict tie. And I got compliments on it. You'll get compliments on them too. They're beautiful ties. Ladies, what a great gift. Dudes, treat yourself. You know, there's a lot of haberdashery out there today. There's black guys out there that are taking haberdashery seriously again. And out there teaching other black guys how to dress. Well, I'm teaching an entire generation of punks. Stop slobbing it up. Learn to have some dignity in your dress, and people will treat you with dignity. So, go to shop.mikechurch.com, the official necktie of the Mike Church Show, and the Red, White, and Dude Nation is Proselytize. Pick you 1 or 16 ties up today. We can ship anywhere to anyone you want. So if you want to buy one as a gift for someone, easy to do. Just change the shipping address. Go to shop.mikechurch.com. Pick your proselyte up and tell us that we sent you. Do you have that clip from J.D. Vance earlier, or you were just listening to it live? I have it. Okay. J.D., you don't get... look, I understand the chain of command. I completely and I totally get it. You could just say nothing instead of doubling down. You know, the exodus from Camp Trump is a stampede. It started as a trickle with smart people like me. And by the way, smart people like me who got fooled, who got completely and totally conned by this guy. And now they're trying to continue the con. You ought to see the propaganda on FAUX, fake Fox News. It's orgasmic. They're so giddy, these women, about killing people in strange countries they can't point to on a map. JD, you don't get to play I'm the vice president card at judgment. What God is going to tell you is, why didn't you love my Iranian people? Yeah, I know that they weren't converts. Why didn't you love them? They're created in my image too. You can't be running around the earth saying that POTUS somehow has the right to annihilate a civilization, JD. What the hell is wrong with you, bro?
But we feel confident that we can get a response, whether it's positive or negative. We're going to get a response from the Iranians by 8 o'clock tonight. I hope they make the right response, because what we really want is we want a world where oil and gas is flowing freely, where people can afford to heat their homes and cool their homes, where people can afford to transport themselves to work. That's not going to happen if the Iranians are engaged in acts of economic terrorism. So they've got to know we've got tools in our toolkit that we so far haven't decided to use. The President of the United States can decide to use them, and he will decide to use them if the Iranians don't change their course of conduct.
You're the one who started a war with them. Why do they have to change what they were doing? What in the hell is going on here? The Iranians are committing economic terror. You better talk to your Israeli buddies. The ones who started knocking out Iranian oil and gas infrastructure. It wasn't the Iranians that took it out. The Israelis took it out. The earth, the world is about to set itself on fire, led by a madman. And apparently there's no one in his inner circle that will tell him no. No one. Just moments ago, I was looking at this on X. Following up on what Schellenberger was writing. Why oil prices aren't reacting more to Trump's latest Iran threats. Well, that's because these people think, and they look, they have been sold this. And I'm telling you, they have been sold this, and they've internalized it, and they actually believe it. They have been sold this 4D chess bill of goods. They have been told, oh no, he's playing 4D chess. You don't understand. You're just a pesky, stupid human. You don't get it. Oh no, I get it. I get it. One of the other headlines that we have here today. Here. Go. Let's talk some more about the capitalism thing that Tucker and Nathan Apfel were talking about earlier, and about how what I was talking about. Okay, imagine you live in a little town. We're going to call the town KingDudeville, Dudiana. There is a bakery in the north end, there's a bakery in the east end, there's a bakery in the west end, there's a bakery in the south end. You got 4 bakeries, and I'm just rounding off just for argument's sake. The men that are running the bakeries are, and unless they're having a bake-off and they're having a good friendly competition, that's different. You do not, in a Christian world, in the world of Christendom, you do not look at someone else who was in your vocation as someone to be vanquished, beaten, and bankrupted. That's not a victory. That's a victory for Satan. That is not a Christian victory. Would you lay down? No. You don't believe in the zero-sum game. This is what most of these selfish boomers that Krispy Kreme was talking about earlier, they believe in the zero-sum world because they've been taught it their entire lives. You do not believe in the zero-sum game. You trust that God is going to provide. And you also trust that God's going to provide for the guy on the west end. He's going to provide for the guy on the north end. Going to provide for the guy on the south end. And that you can all bake without warring against one another. You're basically there as a support network and a support group. Which is why, you kind of wonder, well, where did it get to turn the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker? Because they were making candles in Christendom because they were needed. By the way, if he was a candlestick maker, what else did that make him? He was probably a kinesist or a kinesist. He was a beekeeper. Where would you get the wax to make the candles without the bees? So all of these things are linked. And again, quid hoc ad aeternitatem. The things that you do today matter in eternity. And if you think that they matter in eternity, you're going to do them differently. Which is why I say, if you want to change your life, and you only have 58 minutes to do it, listen to Ethics Lecture 1 from Brother Francis Malou. As a matter of fact, I challenge you. I would challenge anyone who believes in the kill or be killed, dog eat dog, the Jimmy Buffett world, that he who dies with the most amount of toys wins. No, he who dies with the most amount of toys dies. Then you cannot be at war with brothers and sisters in Christ. Certainly you cannot, we use this term economy completely inappropriately. Wow, what is this warehouse in Ontario that's on fire? Yeah. It looks like an Amazon warehouse. Massive. It's in Ontario, California. Look at the size of that thing. Wow. Well, whatever was in there, sugar.
I suspect arson.
Yeah, and why would you set a fire that large?
It's 1 million square foot. It's a Kimberly-Clark warehouse.
Okay, well, Kimberly-Clark is all paper supplies. That's one of the companies. That's one of the good to great companies at Kimberly-Clark. So that's the greeting cards, stuff like that.
No.
Well, they used to be a paper mill company. They're not. They're in the paper business today.
No, they lead the global industry in hygiene products.
Kimberly-Clark leads in hygiene products?
Huggies, Kleenex, Scott, Kotex, Boys.
Oh, okay. Well, those are paper. That's paper. Most of it's made from paper. Okay. Yeah, that's going to go up in flames. Play digital media file number 18. Number 18. This is 60 Minutes last night. Remember, I started the program off with the end. This is before the annihilation announcement. That President Trump has told the people that live in Iran, you have less than 20 hours left to live. Your civilization is going to die, and it's never going to be revived. Now, by the way, what does that mean? And another consideration here, what if the Iranians did have a nuke? Let's just pretend for a moment like we obliterated their nuke. They had nothing but BB guns, spitballs. They knocked our F-15 down with a spitball. I'm pretty sure that they didn't. What if they didn't have? What if they do have a nuke? You're being threatened with global annihilation. You going to use it? You're being threatened with, we're going to wipe you basically. Your civilization is going to be vaporized. Somebody was joking, but it's not funny. Somebody was joking that while the Artemis crew was going around the moon, that what ought to happen is that we ought to, like in the TV show or like in the book, while Artemis was going around the moon, we ought to all buy Planet of Apes costumes. So when they come back, and they come back and go, yeah, we just went around the moon, and they land on the air. They get put on the aircraft carrier, and they get out, and the people that are taking them out of the space capsule are all apes. The apes. It's kind of what ought to happen here. Okay, this is Tox Omishakin. Again, American democratic institutions are over. This is the one, the kill shot, it's done. Nobody's going to give you $122 billion to build a railroad track to nowhere when you've already spent $150 billion or however much, and you haven't laid a piece of track yet.
As we speak right now, are the funds there to complete LA to San Francisco?
The entire amount of money we need, not there today. But do we believe we can get those funds to get the project done? Absolutely.
How much do you estimate it's going to cost to connect high-speed rail San Francisco to LA?
Listen to
Today, we estimate with the right optimization, just over $125 billion. I think $126 billion is the current estimate for that.
That's more funding than Amtrak has received in its history and still leaves a shortfall of roughly $90 billion.
That's a big gap to fill.
It is a big gap to fill, but again, we have an understanding of how to get there and to fill that gap.
You're lying. You're full of it. $120 million for so you can play train engineer? And by the way, just so you know, in 2008, the people of California went to the polls and voted for the high-speed rail. They were told it was it was told to them it was going to cost them $33 billion. That's right. How much? $33 billion. Look, they blew that in the first 5 years. Every criminal and crooked megalomaniac grifter has been grifting the state of California for 18 years, and these clowns want to sell another $126 billion? The people of California, if there's anyone left that's not gone Trump insane, should just say no. Just walk away. By the way, this just continues to pour rubbing alcohol into the wound. That is the great festering sore that is American democracy, which is nothing. It has failed. Like Tucker and Nathan Fell were saying, oh, we've enjoyed the experiment. Well, it's about ready to come to an end because there's a lunatic in the White House that's going to bring it to an end. Some anonymous A-clown on X is trying to tell me, you stop, stupid. He's threatening them, trying to invoke fear on the regime. Oh, yeah, because that's worked so well so far, sir. He's not going to nuke Iran or anything that extreme. He has the world thinking that he is. He has J.D. Vance basically telling a crowd in Hungary that, yeah, you better listen because he means it. He's not playing around. You had the pregnant Caroline Leavitt last week saying, oh, no, this president means business. He doesn't make empty threats. Remember, we have been told, stupid, call me stupid. I have been told by his spokesman or spokesbabe that I ought to take him seriously. Why don't you? She said he doesn't make empty threats. Didn't she, Maggie? And then what she said? This president doesn't make empty threats. He says something to me. Okay, he said he's going to annihilate a civilization tonight. To the Dude Maker hotline here for our political affairs contributor, Magdalene Rose. You know, the only thing we haven't played is, you know what, just for poops and giggles, play Cat Tempf. Maggie? Number 14. This is from the 5. I'm just curious now. How were they talking about this on fake FAUX, fake Fox News?
Oil. Right. Yes. I mean, with a very strongly worded tweet. I mean, if I posted something like that, I do feel like people at this table would hold an intervention for me. Like, I feel
I'll come find you.
And I don't have a problem with the F word. Personally, seeing so many people on the right say they're okay with the F word now opens up a lot of opportunities for me personally. So I actually love to see that. But I don't think it was just the F word that people were upset about. Some people think it doesn't sound like strength so much as escalation, right? And Donald Trump did win the election from support from a lot of people who were non-interventionists. So they were sick of these forever wars. They didn't want involvement in Iran. So if they hear about bridges and they hear about power plants, whether there's the F word there or not, then they're going to think that that sounds a little bit like escalation, which doesn't necessarily make them soft or liberals. It is different, Kellyanne, from I think that there are people certainly who they are wrapped up in they don't like Donald Trump, and it can feel like they're rooting against the United States, which is wrong, but it does not apply to everyone. And I think that's an important part of this conversation to distinguish. It doesn't make you anything other than what you've always been, which is a non-interventionist, if you are one of those people. People can believe any collection of things they want to believe. They can be liberal, they can be conservative, they can be independent like I am, and absolutely detest the Iranian regime, and still be concerned when rhetoric starts sounding like escalation, when what you want to see is the opposite of that.
Magdalene Rose, is Kat Tempf wrong?
No, and I think that, the language that Trump has been using, it is shocking, it is jarring, but it's also not surprising. Like, I'm the least offended by the language. I'm offended by the fact that he seems to want to nuke Iran. I'm offended by the fact that he's talking about obliterating an entire civilization, and Republicans in Congress are normalizing that. But, the language to me is like, yes, it's bad language, but my bigger issue is that he's gleefully talking about erasing an entire civilization.
Well, I haven't even talked about much. I said in the first segment about using the F-bomb on Easter Sunday and praising Allah as a joke, that this is not a joke. There was nothing that was funny in there. In a war of language, when you have to resort to calling names, like, when you use the little children's and you get into the insult contest with your friend. Yeah, well, your mama's so fat that she lives in her easy chair is in 2 zip codes, right? When you have to resort to insults, you've kind of lost the argument. There's no détente here. There's nothing diplomatic about this. There is the threat of brute force. Now, this is supposed to come from the brightest constellation in the history of bright constellations of nations. So this is what we are now? Street bullies? Either do it our way. They even told the Vatican. Apparently they got in an argument with the Vatican. Either you buck it up and you go with us, or you're going to regret it, Vatican. So this is not an isolated thing. This is happening all over the Trump administration playing field. And from the religious end all the way to the other. And there doesn't seem to be anyone, including the Catholics, including Vance, who just spoke in Hungary and resisted the urge to try and say something sane, and instead it sounded like a watered-down version of his lunatic boss, to Marco Rubio and the rest of them.
No, and it's getting worse and worse. And this is something that people don't want to hear, is that Donald Trump does not have control of this war. I will never believe that Donald Trump has control of this war based on how much back and forth goes on. You cannot say Donald Trump is in charge of this situation. When his deadlines are not paid attention to, nobody cares what his statements are. That does not reek of someone in control. This is not like Iran, drone bombed California. There is no catalyst. If Iran had bombed California, I would tell Donald Trump to do whatever he wants. I would say you have to send a message to the world not to mess with us. You cannot be a strong man and talk about how you must defend your country if your deadlines are ignored and there was no catalyst and you can't seem to get anything under control. I think the Iranians may be crazier than Donald Trump, and that's the problem he's having.
If anyone has exercised any restraint in this so far, it's not been the Israelis, and it's not been the United States. It's probably been the Iranians. If there's any restraint being, and the Russians, because where are the Iranians getting the intel? They shot an F-15E down. If you can shoot one down, you can shoot more. You can shoot 22 down. So I don't think people are internalizing this or processing this correctly. The goat-herding backwoods state that is made fun of and mocked constantly of Iran, that they said only, look, his little campaign speech from last Tuesday night, in 3 days, it didn't age very well, did it? They most certainly did have air missile defense systems. They most certainly do have missiles. And they can reach Saudi Arabia, they can reach Israel. They can also shoot down F-15s. They damaged to an A-10 Warthog, and there had to be a rescue mission. People should not be cheering the fact that there was a rescue mission. You should be booing the fact that the men were placed in a situation where they had to be rescued.
Well, that was my position. I'm very grateful that pilot was saved, that he did
Sure.
what he had to do to protect himself. But he shouldn't have been there. And we can separate the two things, that he should never have been there, and he's a hero for going into that and surviving, and we're glad about that. And this is something that Trump defenders don't want to hear. Like, I saw people saying exactly that, like, so happy that the military got that pilot out and the other wanted her safe. It doesn't mean that we support the fact that they had to be there to begin with.
And then I'm just scrolling through X to see the exodus of people that are going like, okay, this is going on far enough now. You need to stop. Carrie Prejean Bowler, 17 minutes ago. President of the United States is threatening to kill the whole civilization. I am calling on every single Christian to resign immediately from this administration. If you don't, the blood of innocent human life is on your hands. Trump is an evil psychopath. That's one way to look at it. As I said earlier, if you're in that room and you're not telling him you can't do this, you can't, and now that you've threatened to do it, you know who's going to be pushing him to do it? The Israelis. And now that he's threatened, if we don't do it, I bet the Israelis will do it. The Israelis will do it and try and blame us. Or we'll get another scenario. How do we know that Marco Rubio's not going to get another phone call today from Netanyahu and the Knesset and the Likud party and the boys telling him, like, look, we don't care whether or not Trump is going to actually annihilate that civilization. We're going to do it. So you can either join us and help us and lob a nuke from your arsenal, or you can just sit back and watch the fireworks display.
Well, and that's exactly the question. How are we going to start to have some clarity about who's actually on our side of stopping this war? I totally get that senior cabinet officials, and I include Vance in that, they want to play it safe. They want to protect their own political future. But you also can't launch a country into war and then be on the fence. Like, they're not Commerce Secretary. They're not the head of HUD. They're involved in this. If the head of HUD wants to stay on the fence, I'm okay with that. I'm fine with that. But if you are the Secretary of War or the Secretary of State and you're not being clear on your position, or you're Vance and you're playing both sides, I don't think you're doing a good service to America right now. And
did he actually say, and look, the 25th Amendment is a real option right now. He just said it again. A whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will. Did he actually say yesterday, after I'm done with this, I'll go to Venezuela, I'll quickly learn Spanish, it won't take long, I'm good at language, and I'll run for president?
Yes, he says he was kidding. But, you know, when you lose Alex Jones, when Alex Jones is talking about invoking the 25th Amendment, maybe take a look around. Because, like, Alex Jones is not what I call, like, a fair-weather Republican. He's not a fair-weather guy voting for Republicans. When you lose Alex Jones, perhaps consider why. Like, maybe don't change course, but consider why. Alex Jones knows that this is never going to end well. And the people supporting Trump in this war, first of all, even John Bolton thinks it's a bad idea because of the Strait of Hormuz. But the people supporting him in this war are self-aggrandizing lunatics, like Alina Habab, who wants to be Attorney General and is on some weird media tour for it. No one of any real means or, like, positive constitution is supporting this war.
Well, and I think that the people that are making the case, and I understand that people don't want to speak out. They're horrified of the man. They don't want to get Marjorie Taylor Greened. Too bad. Suck it up, Buttercup. I said this earlier. When they recruited me in 1992 to host the Mike Church Show on April the 20th on WSLA in Slidell, I didn't receive my manual on how to broadcast and announce the vaporization of an entire civilization. They didn't teach me that when I was interning and answering the phones. So I was not prepped or prepared for this. But apparently now it's on tap. And apparently now you have congressional Republicans, you said, that are normalizing this. There's nothing normal about it. I mean, this is the calling card of the United States of America now. Do what we say or else? Come on.
And this isn't even or else. This is or we, like, nuke you. Or we wipe out your civilization. Like, I don't mind an or else when it comes to North Korea and keeping that crazy guy in check, or China and trade, but we wipe out your civilization is our answer now for a country that didn't directly attack us, that there's no catalyst for this war, that they've been getting a nuclear weapon since 2014, that they've almost had one since 2015. That's your catalyst? for launching a civilization-erasing war. And the Democrats also, like, they are just not doing anything. And I get it. I don't expect them to because they're on the other side, but they sit there and they let him do all of this, and they don't even talk about it because they know when it comes down to midterms, you know what they're going to talk about? Housing prices, health care. And Donald Trump is going to be standing up there going, I need $39 trillion to wage war with Iran.
Maggie, I'm going to send you this clip because I haven't listened to him. You could screen it, make sure there's no F-bombs in it. Maggie, just send me, and you're right. No one is talking about did you know that, well, of course you know this because you and Daniel want to buy a house. Mortgage rates have gone up. You know this, right?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah. A bunch of my friends who were in that process knew it. And, it's kind of like a level of just depletion and acceptance of the horrors because we stand there and we're like, okay, all right, that sounds good. We get it. Because what else are you going to say? How are you going to debate the point? You can't. And the president we all elected to deal with this, to focus on domestic issues, is just not doing it. And our vice president knows it. He says nothing, but he knows it.
Okay, so, and just some of what's happening out there. It's time to lick our wounds caused by Trump's betrayal, says Joey, who said this isn't a 5D chess game. That's the other thing. Look, and I've said on other things, well, he's playing 3D chess. He's playing 4D chess. It's a game with which we're not familiar with. And I think in some of those things he was. Like in the Gilbro Garcia, oh God, what was the hell was his name? Abrego Garcia Amato, what the hell, the convict, the cartel member dude. They absolutely knew. They set that up. They 100% knew that guy, Abrego Kilmar Garcia. Stephen Miller, they absolutely knew that he was cartel. And they knew he was a criminal. They knew he was a trafficker. They just ladled that guy out there and went, watch these stupid libs are just going to go pick it up and defend him. And sure, they did. That was 4D chess. What's happening now is not 4D chess. What's happening now is insanity. I agree with this guy. It's time to lick our wounds caused by Trump's betrayal, realize we got the leader we deserved instead of the one we needed, and move on from him. He has more than adequately shown who he really is. Any denial is simply a refusal to let go of who we wanted him to be. This happens all the time in relationships, shouldn't, with our politicians. Now it's time to improve ourselves as a society and go get the leaders we really need. I believe this is beginning to happen. I hate it took what it took, but it did. How will we respond? Well, Joey, you could say one thing about how we will respond. We will not go silently along with it. Scream as loud as you can and tell everyone you know you had nothing to do with this. You don't want anything to do with it. Look, Caroline Levitt, 35 minutes ago, why Trump's huge $1.5 trillion defense budget is worth every penny. That is a doubling. That's a doubling of the size of the defense. Without the saving of a penny.
I know. It's horrifying. It's horrifying. And if you bring up that this is a problem, these people say, well, you just don't support Trump. You know what? Yes, I'm sorry. I think perhaps $1 should go to literally anything domestic that could be of assistance. How bad of me for thinking that after being a Republican my whole life. Caroline, I feel for Caroline Levitt because I genuinely do not believe she's in favor of this war. Just from her body language, her whole way of being, I think she's a very loyal political soldier. Hats off to her. That's her job. But if you got these senior members of this cabinet together and you really asked them, I don't think any of them in the senior exec team would be approving of it because Stephen Miller's against it. Maybe Steve Witkoff is for it. Maybe Jared Kushner is for it. But also there's this other thing. Jared Kushner should not be at this high level of American politics. It's wrong. He was not confirmed. There was no investigation into what...
There wasn't a hearing.
There wasn't even a hearing. So what is he, just like a freelance high-level advisor charging us into war with Iran? There's not even a hearing. There's supposed to be a hearing. And, we are supposed to let that go because Trump loves him. Well, I don't love Jared Kushner. Everything that went wrong in the first administration had the fingerprints of Jared and Ivanka Kushner on it. So Jared Kushner gets to wage war, and we don't even get a hearing for that?
That's exactly what Owen Schroyer
That's exactly what Owen Schroyer said. It's what we said afterwards. And remember, this was brought up by, it wasn't Briggs. Who was the guy that brought up? It was brought up by someone that just dug into the research. Remember, Jared Kushner's company is worth $6 billion now, thanks to the sacking of Saudi Arabian, Kuwaiti, and United Arab Emirate energy assets. It was almost as though it was intentional.
Oh, yes. Massive investments in Saudi Arabia and Qatar.
The Brits don't want anything to do with it. The French don't want anything to do with it. The Italians are now saying no. The Austrians came out and said no. There is no one in NATO that's left to say yes outside of Hungary. And I don't know why would the Hungarians... If I was Viktor Orban, I would say, I don't want... JD, get on plane. Get out quick. Get out. Get to the chopper. I don't want endorsement of Trump. Please leave the country before... this is nuts. They blew a bridge up on Friday, on Good Friday. They annihilated a piece of Iranian infrastructure and said this was your military supply line. No, it wasn't. It was connected to a city. You can see from the video that there was a city right behind it. So is anything that can haul a gallon of gasoline, is that you could say that anything is military infrastructure. And there he is, boasting and bragging. I tell you, they're obliterated. They've lost this war militarily. They've lost it. There are more things to lose than the military initiative. You've lost the military initiative. Now you're resorting to, again, playing the world's bully and threatening to use a nuclear arsenal against a defenseless enemy, against a defenseless civilian population. What are the people of Iran to think about this?
Well, he keeps trying to talk to them, and he says to the great people of Iran, let us have regime change and things. But people in Iran, look, I'm sure it's horrible to live in Iran. I'm sure it's terrible.
Sure it
and
is.
It's violent and unsafe. But it's not our right to tell them to overthrow their government. We don't have a right to do that. It's not like someone took over the state of Delaware and Trump, as president of the United States, is saying, please overthrow this leader to return our Constitution to what it is. That didn't happen. So when he says to the people of Iran, overthrow your leader, have regime change, all this stuff, there is no guarantee that that will happen. And I think I don't understand how after the disaster of the Bush years, but a lot of this is based off of a position on Middle Eastern affairs that if we import American values, they will go along with American ideals. I mean, that's what I see over and over here.
Yeah, with our political affairs contributor Magdalene Rose here on the Dude Maker hotline here, and I think a lot of people are okay. So if you're looking at the Republican bench, not only is he annihilated MAGA, he's also annihilated the bench for 2028. You don't get a second shot at this, JD. I understand that you're the second in command. I understand you're the guy that you're supposed to be the yes man. I understand that you were put there to that you answer to the president, and that not the other way around. Everyone understands that, and everyone gets it. Everyone is also looking to you toward the future and wanting to know, what are you going to do? When did you stand up? When the wheels were coming off the bus, when did you stand up to the man? When did you tell him no? When because now you're going to have to now run. This is on your record now. The Iranian war is on your record, little Marco. This is what you're going to be known for. Whether you like it or not, I'd say infamous for. You're now infamous for this. You can't scrub this from your record now. This is who you are. I think that is an incredibly sobering thing, don't you?
Well, I do, and I understand that Vance wants to play all these sides and everything. But, at some point you do actually have to govern. And I say this sometimes to Republicans, and they're like, what do you mean? Like, at some point, even if you are caring about your political future and everything, you have to do the duties you were given to do in that term. no matter where it is, if it's Senate, if it's White House, whatever it is, rather than you constantly looking towards the future, maybe evaluate whether or not you're doing your duty in your current role. And if Vance wants to be president, well, then he better decide that, because he plays both sides of the fence. He says, I don't really want to, stress out my family too much because my wife's having another baby and all this, but also I want to run the Republican Party. Pick a side, Vance, that you're running out of time to be on the fence.
And then, if you watch the Bruce Greenwood film, I forget who directed it, 13 Days, which was about how the Kennedys navigated the Cuban Missile Crisis, right? You kind of get inspired by the whole Camelot thing and by the Kennedys, and that JFK and that his little brother, RFK Jr., were literally, they were working against evil Soviet red communist pigs. These are hardliners. And their task was, okay, we potentially have a nuclear incendiary device in our hemisphere. We don't know where all the Russian submarines are. We do know that they have nuke subs. We do know that there are missiles in Cuba. We do know that Khrushchev has threatened, we will annihilate you or we will destroy you or whatever it was that he said. We do know that this is a huge tension here. The history kind of showed that the Kennedys actually did play 4D chess and managed to negotiate their way out of it, and almost no one knew until you read the books or saw the movie or whatever. No one knew that what happened in Portugal, that this was like basically a wag the dog kind of thing, that the United States went, okay, look, we'll let you do this, and that'll make you look like big, bold, and bad. Then you have to do this for us, and that was withdraw the missiles here. So it is possible, and you look back on that, and that is a fine moment in American diplomatic history. Unless you're a sociopath, you're not going to be looking back on this epic as a fine moment in American diplomatic history. That's a problem.
It isn't, and it's a mess. And this is why when I say Trump has lost control of this war, people say, no, he hasn't. That's horrible to say. What evidence do you have that he's in charge of it? Like, what evidence? Because the Iranians don't care. And this is something I don't think that some people want to accept. The Iranians don't care what you say. They're going to do what they want when they want, and they don't care if you're upset. The Iranians will also let their people die in order to survive en masse. We won't do that. We sent the United States military massively to rescue one pilot, which I agree with, but it's a different way of thinking. Iran will let tens of thousands of their people sacrifice themselves and tell people to become human chains. We send the military to rescue one pilot. They're ahead of us in their ruthlessness.
Yeah, and then the other thing is, you just have to listen to. Okay, Maggie, I know you played it several times today, but I think people just need. Why are you guys bailing on Trump because of this? Play digital media file number 3. You have to hear this one more time. And if you haven't heard it, explain this to me.
Why would they want you to blow up their infrastructure, to cut off their power? Wouldn't that be punishing Iranians for the actions of the regime?
They would be willing to, and it's suffering, they would be willing to suffer that in order to have freedom. The Iranians have, and we've had numerous intercepts. Please keep bombing. Bombs that are dropping near their homes. Please keep bombing. Do it. And these are people that are living where the bombs are exploding. And when we leave and we're not hitting those areas, they're saying, please come back, come back, come back. These are the people. I don't know what they do. All I can tell you is they want freedom. They have lived in a world that you know nothing about.
Neither do you.
It's a violent, horrible world where if you protest, you are shot.
And then he goes on to tell the urban legend about 153 million of them, bodies piled up in pyramids everywhere. I don't know. But they're telling us, please come back. You haven't hit us hard enough yet. Please come back. 2 weeks ago, there was no communications. They were using walkie-talkies and string tied between former cans of pork and beans. Now they're calling the White House on the bat phone and saying, no, you didn't kill enough of my neighbors. Please come back and kill more. And by the way, people that live in Arab countries and have been living under Sharia law don't have contact with the outside Western world. They don't read Western literature, and they don't care about it. And they don't pursue and perceive liberty and democracy and freedom the way that you and I do. They just don't. That's just a fact. As a matter of fact, I like giving this angle. If you could get in, go to Mongolia and come back and give me your book report and lecture me about freedom and what people want. Because so little gets out of Mongolia. You can't go film a movie there. Terrence Malick tried it, and they go, no, you can't, we won't let you come in. We'll let Mongolians film it, and we'll send it to you, but you can't come in here and film it. The idea here that the rest of the world thinks like the war hawk, the war-lusting, blood-on-their-hands hens that are on Fox and Friends, the Mary Catherine Hams, the Ainsley Earharts, the Harris Faulkners, and all the rest of them that they think, like the Dana Perinos. They don't have women like that in that country. They don't think like that. They've never seen that. It would be foreign to them. So pining away with a Western intellect that everyone else wants to be like us, well, why would they want to be like us now?
Well, and that's the question. And when you tell people that not every country holds America up as a shining city on a hill, I mean, the hatred you get, like from the Lindsey Grahams and everything, they believe in a system of the world that doesn't exist anymore. And that's okay. There's a lot of people who believe in that. But they control facets of this government that can wage war. That's the issue here. And libertarians, I will tell you, feel so betrayed and so thrown away that the Republican candidate, it used to be the Republican candidate that courts evangelicals and they love him wins. That is partly true, but I also think the Republican candidate who can get libertarians on his side and run with them and get them to support him will win, because libertarians hold massive voting power in the Rust Belt, in New England, in New Mexico, which we've been trying to win for several election cycles, and Nevada, Arizona. Trump has effectively thrown them away. He did the one thing that would ensure they would never support him. So if you're a Republican presidential candidate and you have a way in with libertarians, you're in a better position than you would be any other election cycle.
By the way, I'm not sure when he put this out, but Trump tweeted out on his True Social a video about New York City 1929. This is right before. The video shows the era of wealth and opulence before the stock market crash. What is he trying to tell you? He's trying to tell you that he's going to crash the whole damn thing. Get ready. The man's a lunatic. I'm looking at his X feed. I'm looking at it. He posted that video pre-stock market crash. Absolutely nuts. What are you supposed to think about that?
Well, I think that Trump has lost anyone who could even keep control of him. And I don't mean keep control in like a bad way of, oh, you're in charge of the president, but you're supposed to have people of different perspectives giving you perspective. So if he is unhinged like this, I think this started with the death of Charlie Kirk. I think it's escalated from that. You know, him and Tucker have been trading words back and forth now. Tucker has lost his direct line to the White House since about 3-4 weeks ago, since the severe escalation of this. So with Tucker and Kirk out, there's nobody else there. I mean, Sean Hannity, this is how bad it is. I think Sean Hannity is the most reasonable of voices in Trump's orbit right now.
I think even Hannity has... the only one that doesn't have a soul, people like Lindsey Graham and Mark Levin who don't have souls, and are looking at this, this is the greatest thing that's there. It's about time the Iranian people got what they deserve, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Hannity made me looking at this going like, I didn't think that it would actually escalate to this point. I did not think that he would actually become Netanyahu and the Likud party's bitch, basically. Because that's what he's become. By the way, using the word annihilation is Mossad. That's what the Israelis say about the Iranians. Did you know that? They've been using the term annihilate and annihilation. Now, he's using it because he's heard it so much. I'm telling you, the fuse has been lit now. And the Israelis, they so desperately want to use one of their little nukes. You can hear it in the rhetoric. They so want to do it. If I was an Israeli psychopath, and I'm not, but if I was, I would go like, this is my one chance. I'm going to get to nuke these Iranian bastards. I'm going to send a cable to the White House, and I'm going to tell them, we've decided that we're changing our minds about troops on the ground and military engagement with the Iranians. War's not over. We agreed that they are a threat, and we are going to use one of some of our nuclear devices, and you can join in if you want with your own since you promised it, but there's nothing you can do to stop us. We're going to go ahead and do it. Right now, to me, that's the real threat, and that's a real threat.
And if you think about the fact that Congress is completely checked out from this, I mean, Congress, the Democrat leaders in Congress should be trying here. They should be attempting to push forward. They should be doing something, holding a hearing, and they're doing nothing. And the reason they're doing nothing is because they want to campaign not against the war, but on domestic issues. And Democrats have always been criticized for not having answers on domestic issues, that they have these giant concepts that float in the sky, and that's what they deal with. And now, because of Mamdani and the Democrat socialist takeover of the DNC, they have domestic policies. They will end in bread lines and communism, make no mistake, but they have those policies. They'll run on them. They will win in certain areas. They'll turn purple areas into blue areas. That'll happen. While Republicans sit there and go, I need another $1 trillion to blow up Iran. There is not a more unsympathetic position than the United States government asking the American people for more money to blow up a country that did not attack us.
So, and there are people now that are also saying that they're... Well, I'm starting to think now that when Marjorie Taylor Greene got Marjorie Taylor Greene, how do we know? And look, I'm sure she has screws loose. All right, she's a chick. Of course she does. How do we know, though, that she didn't know or didn't start to realize what you have been saying since Charlie died, and going like, all right, I'll try to fill the gap. I'll try and talk some sense into him, and nobody backed her up. And when nobody backed her up, and she said, she keeps calling me, she keeps telling me that, maybe she was telling him, you are surrounded by lunatics. Mr. President, you are surrounded by crazy people. You need to stop listening to them. Maybe that's how the whole thing went down. Now, looking at it in hindsight.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly possible. I greatly dislike her just on a personal level, but that might be the case. She also had talked very much about the fact that she'd tried to get Trump to listen on the importance of the Epstein files, and Trump didn't want to hear it. And then Trump was like, why is this all you talk about? Why is this all anybody talks about? So I think it was a culmination of those two things for a lot of people in her, breakaway camp, of which I think Lauren Boebert, the congresswoman, will be next. Trump doesn't want to deal with Epstein, and Trump wants to bomb Iran. Those are just the two truths of the administration right now. When that happens, people who focus against those two things or on those two things, they get frustrated, which is what I think happened with Marjorie Taylor Greene.
And I think, and again, folks, we pray for peace. Divine intervention is about all you have left now. That someone, and by the way, any further movement on what you tweeted out on or sent to all of us on Friday about Susie Wiles trying to get people who are influencers to try and talk sense into people in the White House?
There's no movement because Susie Wiles does not have political capital. And this is something I had heard for a while, and I was like, well, that's not possible. Susie Wiles came late to the MAGA world. She was not someone well immersed in it. She comes from the DeSantis fold. There is a distrust of her, and she never integrated herself with the youth organizations of the Republican Party. Now, why Stephen Miller's not taking care of this, I don't know, because he has those connections.
Stephen Miller, if he says anything, he goes on Laura Ingraham and nods his head yes when Laura Ingraham goes like, well, it's obvious that the regime has advanced its protocols. Calling them a regime does not make it so. They seem to think that, we used the term, the Biden regime for 4 years. I'm well familiar with the use of the term regime. But they seem to think that if you just attach a regime to the end of the world, you have to wonder at what point in time. When did the great news organization that CBS was going to become under Barry Weiss, where is the reporting on this? Where did it go? You cannot tell me that there aren't sane people that are near President Trump and that there are not, Chris Coons, for example, that there aren't some sane Democrats that are not in back rooms screaming literally the end of the world. This lunatic has brought us to the brink of a nuclear holocaust. What happens? What happens if the Russians make the phone call? What if the Russians? What if Vladimir Putin calls Trump? Trump, this Vladimir. I put vodka down for the afternoon nap before I go and have dinner and celebrate upcoming Holy Week for Eastern Orthodox Rite. Let me tell you something about threat to use nuclear warhead. This is not funny. This is not funny. It's not cool. You cannot use nuclear device. I resist urge from time to time telling Zelensky you need to stop playing your games. Because, the Russians there from time to time go, don't do it, dude. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Walk right up to the line. Russia, part of Russian territory intersects with part of Iran's.
Yeah. People don't know that, though. They have no idea, I will tell you.
Well, it's just stupid.
They have no idea.
It makes it...
Nobody else has reported that or spoken about that but you, that I've heard, in the last month.
You have Azerbaijan. You have Armenia. You have part of Armenia, one of the last great Christian civilizations left. What happened to it? The Ottoman Empire wiped it out in a genocide. Well, Trump and Vance and company are helping bring it to an end. There are people now that are going on other media and are talking about the Israelis going like, these people aren't innocent. What the hell is wrong with you? These people have invaded 7 countries in the last 3 months. 7 sovereign airspaces they have bombed. They have attacked. 7. These are the people. Blessed are the peacemakers. These are the peacemakers. Are you crazy?
Yeah, and we're not. But when Trump first ran, and then this time, I really thought naively that maybe Trump would do what he always said, which is that he would reset our allies in the world. That we would move from the UK, because the UK has nothing to offer us anymore. It's a poor country with nothing available. We would move from the UK to Russia and to China and to those countries, and that just hasn't happened.
I'm trying to remember. Father Joseph is his name, and he has a blog. He is a Melkite. No, he's not a Melkite. I'm trying to remember. Father Joseph's blog is a Substack, and it is all about he left Ohio and moved to Russia. His Substack was why he left Ohio. Here is Father Joe's newsletter. Here it is. I have it. Father Joe's newsletter. He's a very prolific writer. Oh, my goodness. Apostolic authorship of the 85 apostolic canons defended by Nicodemus on the Holy Mount. Father Joe's newsletter, moving to Russia. So he wrote his newsletter. He started his Substack so he could communicate to people. Okay, this is why I decided I chose Russia over the United States. So you can follow Father Joe on Substack. He's the one where I got the Sodom and Gomorrah of the Caribbean, which is Saint Pierre and I'm trying to think of the other two countries there that were wiped out by floods and volcanoes. Father Joe pointed out. That's how insane this is. That's how nuts it is. Now people go like, you don't want to have to live in Russia. Russia is another ancient civilization. Dates all the way back to the 7th century, maybe even before the 7th century. The Russians are, which is why we have been saying since 2022, and the defense of the Donbass. You people don't understand. Ukraine is the novel civilization. Russia is the ancient. It is literally ancient regime. It is one of the oldest one in all of Asia. It is one of the. It is the one Asian empire that completely converted to the one true faith. Did you know that? The Indians didn't. India did not. China did not. The Mongolians did not. Now ultimately the rim countries of the Asian rim, the South Vietnamese and the Philippines did, but that was later. Russia is the oldest convert country of, I guess you could kind of call it the Caucasus, the Balkans, that area. Somebody's going to give me grief for not, you don't know your history, whatever, dude. They have been around since forever, and they're not going anywhere. Planning to eradicate the Iranians is like planning to eradicate the Russians. That's mutually assured destruction, right? Mad. Russia is attached, it's near Iran. They're going to have nuclear fallout from your nuke, you moron. And it's...
Well, they are.
No, go ahead.
Well, they are. And the gap in knowledge, though, around world alignment and affairs and geography, this is one of the problems we have with the Republican Party. They think that issues happening in Iran or Russia will never reach us. So when you ask, like, why are there no people standing up against this, the geography knowledge gap is so massive that you're the only one that discusses these things. Glenn Beck never gets into the weeds of the geography of Russia and Iran and all these things. That doesn't happen. So you're dealing with a completely uninformed population.
Well, and there's also, I'm going to leave you guys with one more thing here, and that's pray. Number one, ask Our Lady Mary, Queen of Peace, for her intercession. Thinking like this. The United States has paid very little price. The people of the United States have paid very little price for the wanton slaughter and murder of 65 million children in abortuariums. We pat ourselves on the back, we got this great economy, we're the greatest nation in the history of great nations, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We paid no price for normalizing, nominalizing, subsidizing, and then even encouraging sodomy and sodomites, which then also led to the encouragement and to the industrialization of pederasty and pedophiles. And then to the outright, straight up physical, mental, and surgical mutilation of children. Then the trans insanity. We've paid no price for it. Maybe the Trump presidency and its insanity, which is going to lead to a war, which is going to impoverish all of us. I'm going to be running radio-free MAGA here next week on a shortwave radio station. Maybe this is what we deserve. Maybe this is the bill coming due.
And people like Laura Loomer tweet out, I can't wait to see what gets bombed next. I'm excited. Like, there is this feeling by certain people in this political movement that it's exciting to watch these bombings. It's not exciting. I mean, even the Bushes tried to hide their glee a little bit. Even the Bushes tried to drape it in patriotic nonsense and all of that. They didn't want to just celebrate with glee the bombing. So when we're to the side of the Bushes in comms when it comes to war, that's the thing to be concerned
You want to hear the lunatic right now? Is he talking to Brett Baer, or did he talk to Brett Baer? Trump speaks to Brett Baier ahead of 8 p.m. deadline, says, yes, we are moving towards strikes as of now. Folks, this is Dana Perino looks concerned. Maggie, would you agree?
Yep.
She looks terrified. I think her neoconism has just caught up to her. Ladies and gentlemen, it's maybe the last show that we live together, we host together. You don't know what's going to happen here. You think that these people are just going to they're going to lie there and they're just going to let this madman and that the rest of the world is going to allow him to decide whether or not Persians get to live or die? How do you know that the Chinese won't see that missile incoming and shoot it and blow it to kingdom come, Magdalene? How do you know that the Russians aren't going to say, if we see an ICBM coming, we're going to take it out? You're assuming that they're just going to sit there and do nothing. What happens after that? Does the madman go, oh, glad you made a mistake. I got bigger ones than you. I want Moscow a pile of rubble. Do it. Hexap, do it. Take your Jerusalem cross and really mean it.
Well, we can't guarantee that. And that's why you're not supposed to mess around with nuclear war. That's like
exactly
the whole point of it. You're not supposed to mess around with it unless you are attacked or NATO is attacked and you decide to go on with Article 5. That's the point. And Trump doesn't want to hear that. And, Viktor Orban is not doing well in his reelection. His party has very low numbers. It's not a cakewalk like it has been since he got elected in, 2010, I believe. He's not in a great position. So even Viktor Orban's like, maybe I'll just stay out of this a little bit. He doesn't want to think of this war on him.
Well, why did he take his endorsement? That's the shocking thing. He took the endorsement.
Yeah.
Right now, if you want to lose, get Trump to endorse you. You will.
Yeah.
Here, he should start. Hopefully, he'll start endorsing Democrats. This is what you can that you can look forward to. My advice to everyone is call everyone that you know and love. Call them today. Do not wait. Call them today. Again, you may be thinking, no, Trump would never do that. It's just brinksmanship. This is just you. Give me an indication that the man's not gone crazy. Look at who he's surrounded himself. As Magdalene said, you got Laura Loomer sitting there going like, oh, you know what? That's satanic. That's demons at work, yucking it up, loving the human misery and suffering. That's just the benefit of this. And is it a coincidence, Magdalene, that the tweet that led to the escalation goes out on Easter Sunday morning again? This guy, everything, and look, he's written magnificent proclamations about all manner of saints' feast and Mary and high days and the Annunciation and everything. It was all a con. The whole thing was a con. He's literally now, this is Easter octave. The Holy Father's calling for peace. In the octave of Easter. The end of the world is going to come as a result of Paula White and the evil that was the Schofield Bible and Christian Zionists. Congratulations to all of you. 9 ways. Maggie, is it 7 or 9 ways to be a party to someone else's sin? 9 ways to be a party to someone else's sin. Laura Loomer, you're guilty of about 8. You're guilty of about 8. So, well, if more news breaks out, we will break in. Magdalene, thank you very much. Hope to talk to you tomorrow.
Thank you.
You're welcome. News breaks out, we will break in. Serious times in which we live. I wish I could tell you something other than say a Hail Mary. Say a bunch of Hail Marys. Ask the Blessed Virgin Mary. She does go by the title Mary, Queen of Peace. She has many different titles. Here in Louisiana, she's Our Lady of Prompt Succor. In other parts of the world, we have an icon on our fireplace. She is also Our Lady of Perpetual Help. She is also Our Lady of Victory, right? She is Our Lady, the Most Holy Rosary. She's many titles where she has been appealed to bring an end to wars or to be on the side of the Christians who were going to fight the war. The problem with this one is, where do you find the Christians? Where are the Crusaders? You know, the idiots out there that are going, this is like the new, it's not the new Crusades. The first crusade was actually called by a very holy man, Urban II, in 1095. There was actually a pope, and there was a good reason that he called it crusades. You know why they called it crusades? Because they went on behalf of the Christ of the cross. That's not what's happening here. That is absolutely not what's happening here. If you got children, call them. Call them. Pull a Biden, call them up. I got a daughter that's probably stuck in Japan now. Heaven knows what this does to international travel. Heaven knows what it does to domestic travel. Heaven knows what it does if another country decides, I'm not going to let you do that. And what if Trump and his insane madmen go like, oh yeah, what are you going to do about it? Well, here for starts, we'll do this. So don't do it. Unbelievable. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women. Blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now the hour of our death. Amen. That's what you can do. Those of you that aren't Catholics, you'll do the Lord's Prayer. Pray the Lord's Prayer. And ask the Lord for intervention. It's His octave. You know, that's what should anger you the most. It's His octave. The greatest event in human history. Well, the greatest event is the Annunciation. I don't want to get into a contest here. One of the greatest events in human history is the resurrection. Many of you went to Mass or the church on Sunday. Those of us that went to Mass, you know, we went on Friday, we went on Thursday, went again on Sunday. It's His octave. It's the octave of the resurrection. That's how the Catholics celebrate major feast on the calendar. We don't just celebrate, we celebrate for 8 days. The octave of the resurrection, the octave of Easter. Global annihilation and the incineration of an entire species of human beings made in the Imago days being threatened by the President of the United States during the octave. His octave. Is this to exact maximum outrage? Because he should be outraged by it. Which is why I say, those that are Catholics that are in the Trump administration, dude, you have to speak up now. Never thought that this... Did anybody have this on their bingo card in January? I didn't. All right, if more horrendous news breaks out, we will break in. If you'd like to join us in praying a rosary for reparations, which are due to all the children that were killed and all the other atrocities committed by horrible people here in these United States, drop us a line in the Signal chat group or in the chat room at crusadechannel.com/chat. And let us know that you would like to pray together. I can lead it after the Angelus at noon. But again, it'd be nice to know that there were a group of people. Put it out on your social media. Ask people if they will join. Because if they will, we'll do it. So keep looking for that. In the meanwhile, just pray. Love your children and everyone that you know. God bless you. Mary keep you.
He's got the truth on his side. The liberals can run, but they'll never hide. He's a friend of Mr. Madison as he fights all leftisms. He supports our troops over there, stands up to the kooks from care. He's the KingDude of the nation of doom. Red, white, and blue.